Thank you, sir. Great voice meeting. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, you guys know that Cayman Reynolds is here, but who have you come to see exactly?
Who's Cayman Reynolds?
That's right. That's what I'm talking about.
Frederick Gunn. Have you seen him?
Dirt Rooster, Jeff, Mr. Ed. They're all thank you for admitting you know me.
Virginia.
You want to tell us a little bit about your business or
We started in 1980,
okay.
and that was myself, my father, my brother, my brother-in-law, and then everybody got out but me.
Everybody get out but you. Well, so was that a good decision or how's it working
Well,
out?
You know, you had trying years because you
Yeah.
had to learn, and then you took and we just gradually started doing this. And, to get my wife involved, she started taking and selling T-shirts. And
So what's the most popular thing you're selling?
well,
What do people
we
really
sell
go for?
Books.
Okay.
Okay. We sell T-shirts
Yeah.
and hats and miscellaneous items.
Who designs your T-shirts back here, like the Queen Bee and stuff?
That was the very first one that we started.
Oh, that's cool.
Then we got into handling creamed honeys and brandied honey.
Brandied honey.
Yes.
What's that about?
There's no alcohol in it. It's just,
Okay.
It has the flavor of brandy. And then that's where we are now. My son is right here, and we've sold some, so they've come to pick it up. So
Now, do they have to shop in person? Do you have an online presence where people can shop? How would they find you online?
It's WGB Farm.
Okay, this will do it. We'll just put that right up there.
So,
Excellent.
we sell beef.
All right, so we're here with Calvin Terry, Midnight Bee Supply. Tell us what you do, Calvin.
We're out of North Carolina, close to Southern Pines, Pinehurst area. We build all our own woodenware, solid bottom boards, screen bottom boards, cypress boxes, pine boxes, observation hives. We got some specialty observation hives, another type of specialty observation hive, more of a garden type, or probably like your sunroom, where you can exit out the side there. Travel observation hives, your hives for honey judging.
Okay.
Holders. We do a line of copper top mailboxes, smoker fuels, anything you can conceive out of wood or need built out of wood, we can do it.
And what's the turnaround time? Like if somebody wanted, you've got this 10-frame observation hive. We already talked about it a little bit.
Yep.
Could they put this outside?
I wouldn't recommend putting this one outside. If you
Okay.
want one for outside, we can definitely build one for outside.
So where is this designed to sit?
Like a sunroom or a Carolina room.
Okay.
It does have a set of doors that'll kind of close over it so they can enjoy some darkness and work in the dark like they normally do.
Okay.
A jar feeder will go on top. We did put a nice decorative copper top on it, but
Yeah.
I would not want to put it outside.
Yeah, because that looks like, when you see that top up there, let me zoom in on it. It looks like it would be outside with that nice copper. Is that pure copper? Is that splatting? It is? So yeah, are you a tin bender?
By accident.
By accident? All
I
right.
have one that was good. I'm trying
Got
to
a
sell
small
it
one
up.
over there. If you want one for your living room, it's on top of the rack there.
Okay, I see it.
That's a 6-frame. Turnaround time really depends on the time of year.
You have these set up and running in your house somewhere
We
yourself?
got one that turns in our shop.
Sits on a 360 like a Vantera?
It turns against the wall, so it just flip-flops.
So it's
See both
hinged
sides.
against the
Yep.
wall. Okay.
Yep.
I like that idea.
And it's a 10-frame.
Now, is there any kind of special lighting that you know about where people could put that on and not distract the bees at all? Red lighting, some kind of ultraviolet?
I know I've heard the red lighting is fairly good for that. Also, ultraviolet, I've heard of people making the ultraviolet markers to mark it when and then look in the hive, not being bothered with them. So I feel like the ultraviolet light would work very well. The one in the shop, we have a curtain over it, and when customers
Okay.
come in, we can easily take it there. To the
Is it one of those insulated curtains? Those thick ones, like a dark blackout
not too
curtain?
much. My grandmother actually made it out of some of the stuff she's made down there.
And so what's your website?
It's midnightbeesupply.com.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate
Thank
it. How you doing? Good. I'm just getting a video of all the hopeful faces. All the happy. They camped out for 7 days waiting for Cayman Reynolds to show up. And all to the way to be. Yeah. All to see Cayman. Thousands of people waving hopeful faces. Oh, I can't wait to see Cayman Reynolds and be part of.
I come to talk to you, Fred.
Oh, I love that story, and you're on video. Thank you for that one. I was like, hey,
Good to see you.
good to see you too. Oh, and they've waited for 5 days, and will wait 10 more. All Hive Life. Oh my gosh. Oh, and you're backlit by the sun. That was so creative. Thank you. And if only somebody had, I don't know, a cowboy hat, that would be cool. Hey,
Fred.
And then, hey, how's it going? So you've been out here 5 days, and that doesn't matter. You don't care, rain or shine. Anything to see Cayman Reynolds at Hive Life. How's it going? Wow, and sun flare. This is so artistic. Oh my gosh, it goes all the way around the corner. What is happening? So hopeful. They cluster together for warmth, and they don't even care if it rains. Oh my, that is not even real. Look what's... You guys heard that the conference was canceled, right? I just wanted to see sadness. I'm looking for drama. Oh my gosh.
We got a celebrity taking pictures of the people.
Who's the celebrity?
This is you.
Are you here to see Cayman Reynolds? Everybody.
Best beekeeper here.
Fellowship. Oh my gosh, I caught Fellowship on camera. West Bees. Okay. Human slider, human slider.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, and the sun put a halo around your head. That's important. That's a declaration. Finger puppets. Oh, those are fantastic. Look how real they look.
Yeah, as far as the queen of yellow, yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm Marlon Miller, co-owner of Superior Bee. We started with bees back when I was small, and it went from one thing to the next, and we saw the advantage of insulation.
Yeah.
We saw it was coming on slow, but we didn't like what we saw in the current bee hives.
Yeah.
The current insulated hives. So we made some changes and we came up with our own brand, the Superior
Okay.
Bee, which has an R value of 8.5.
R8, okay. And that's true, the cover 2 is an R8 as well?
Yes, at
Okay.
least an R8 or more.
Okay.
And once we saw the advantages, it took a little bit to take off, but now we're seeing other companies come on the boat with product. They are competitors, but it's making more awareness of what the insulation is doing for the bees.
Okay.
Same principle as insulating a house.
Now, do you have upper vents and upper entrances, or just a
Just a
main
lower-
entrance?
Just a lower entrance.
Okay.
It has a,
And you've got a Bee Smart hive stand here?
correct.
Okay.
We have a lights screen on the bottom.
Okay.
The slider tray can open and close it. for
Is that
ventilation.
just core flute there that comes out? Is there anything below that? So if they pull that out, it's open to the ground,
Yes,
right?
it's open to the
Okay.
ground. Yep.
And the entrance is this. How big is this opening right here?
It's about a 3/8 of an inch. I
3/8.
believe,
So
is
that's
what-
also a mouse guard
Yeah,
on its
also
own.
a mouse guard.
Okay.
And if you want, we've got people drilling holes along the bottom. They'll put it back in. They'll use that as a mouse guard.
Okay.
Or you can just flip it around as is, and it will close off the hive completely.
What's the life expectancy of a hive like this?
We started in 2015, and we're still using our original equipment.
Okay.
And the product that we're using now is better than what it was when we started.
Does it have to be painted?
Yes, it needs to be painted.
It is. But if it weren't painted, is it somewhat UV stable already? Or
It's going to break down. It's going to yellow.
Okay.
Well, the sun breaks it down.
And the big question a lot of people want to know, end of life, the equipment's done. Is it recyclable? What do we do with it?
It is recyclable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And these are manufactured in the United
In the
States?
United States and Ohio.
Okay.
They are
And how do people find you?
website?
Do you have something that has your website on it?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do that.
We used to. My dad milked cows all his life. I milked cows growing up, and we saw the advantages of cow comfort. It was water.
You know, these are my favorite quart feeders. Right?
We saw the advantages of good water, good feed, and cow comfort, the freestyle
Okay.
farm. So here we go again with the bees.
Yeah.
Pollen, nectar, and the house is comfortable.
Yeah.
They can regulate the temperature.
How do these get used with your hives, if at all? Do you encourage entrance feeding?
I do not.
You do not. Good. Great answer. So then how would people use the feeders that you have here?
Some people use it for entrance.
But they could be used for open feeding, like away from your...
Yeah, they can be used for open feeding, water. You want to put some water out for the bees.
And the screens that are on the bottom, is this a representation of those screens?
Yes.
How big is the opening? Is that number 8 screen? Is that aluminum or stainless?
It's aluminum.
It's aluminum. Okay. So if somebody wanted to treat oxalic acid and they want to use a vaporizer, what's your recommended method for doing that with a polystyrene hive like this?
I've had that question before, and I've told them to get back with me with
Okay.
the end result.
Okay, and you haven't come
I
up with
haven't
anything
heard
yet.
anything. Obviously,
Okay.
it didn't damage anything. I haven't heard anything.
But as far as introducing it and keeping the hot pans or the hot tubes away from the polystyrene, how
Yeah,
would they
if
do
you
it?
stick it in there, the bottom drops down.
Okay, so it's
So-
on the screen then.
Yeah, so it'll be on the screen.
Good answer.
So,
First of all, are these Hive Life Conference pre-order prices? So that doesn't help anybody that's here looking at the pre-order sign.
But there is show prices, so everyone's
Okay.
a winner at the end.
And I have one of these coffee cups. I have one of these hats. Hive Alive
Protein
patties.
patties, yeah.
Protein patties.
Pollen, 15%
And they've got
pollen.
pollen. So what kind of feedback have you had on the, we're talking to Dara Scott, all the way from Ireland.
Slightly
Here,
jet lagged.
yeah. And so, what's the biggest seller for Hive Live right now?
Hive Live, the biggest is the fondant. Yeah, the fondant is definitely the go-to. It's super handy, easy for people to use.
Yeah.
The bees love it. The bees do well with it. So that's
There's
a
almost
no-brainer.
been no negative feedback on the Hive Live fondant.
What negative feedback has there been? Every once in a while we get a packet squashed, squashed in the box. That's it.
So what's the fix for that? Like when it's really thick on one side and thin on the other?
Yeah, so
that
all you,
kind of thing?
all you have to do is warm up a little bit. If someone warm, you can just squeeze it out then and it works out fine.
Okay. And I noticed that you changed the label.
Yeah.
The label now is part of the plastic, covers the whole side. And now you've got this on the back. I know that was a very dexterous move that I just did.
That was smooth, yeah.
That blocks my view of the bees eating the fondant.
So yeah, we've taken them in. So first of all, you cut the hole on the label side,
Yeah.
so you got clear
Yeah.
this side. The next version you'll see will have white. It'll be clear here and here, so it'll be even easier to see.
Oh, you have a version coming
Yeah,
up.
we're always improving.
Did I have anything to do with creating a eating
you weren't the
window?
only person to say that.
Okay,
yes,
then.
you had an influence.
All right.
Definitely.
Okay. Because watching them eat it is a big part because this does close off. When we put it on the inner cover, it closes off the airflow.
Yeah,
So in the
yeah,
wintertime, when we're checking it without bleeding off air from the hive.
Yeah.
And and the shelf life is 2 years
2 years to be the manufacturer. Yeah.
for the data manufacturer. Okay.
So it's at least a year and a half anyway.
Sorry. Just a random thing. And these are the pre-orders over here?
There's pre-orders here, there's pre-orders there. Yeah, we've got a stack of pre-orders. About half has been pre-orders.
Now here's a question I have. We have the Hive Alive syrup that people mix in with their sugar syrup.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks very much.
Is there a similar material in the Hive Alive fondant patty?
Similar material. You mean?
So for example, if you were doing a dose for a hive, I believe is a gallon.
It's
When you mix,
2.5 mils per liter, which is 1 teaspoon per gallon.
correct.
Yeah, 1 teaspoon.
So if we had that and the gallon is the dose for a single hive,
Yeah.
right? And let's look at this real close. So now is the biggest impact this has is against the nosema.
Well, so in the studies, peer-reviewed, published papers,
Right.
basically what they're showing is that the bees will do better, right? So the whole idea of Hive Alive is to keep the pathogen levels low in the colony, right? So
Okay.
they're eating it over the winter time. When they're eating over the winter time, it's go. It's particularly nosema. But also, we know that when it's stored in the comb as well, the ingredients of Hive Alive will also break down the spores of not only nosema but also chalk brood and also the foul brood as well. So you're basically keeping pathogen levels low in the colony. The bees come out in the springtime. They're less stressed and they're able to be
Okay.
more productive.
And more longevity of the bee.
As individual bees, I don't know,
Okay.
but as a colony, certainly, yeah. As
Okay.
a colony, they're stronger.
So is any of this in this?
Oh yeah. So
Okay.
So the side,
Would this be considered a full dose for a hive?
full dose of that amount. Yeah. So sorry, the same ratio of in this is what you would be doing adding to syrup.
Right. So
but
a
ideally
gallon's
you'd be
worth?
feeding more of it. Like a kilo's worth, like a quart.
Okay.
Yeah, a liter. Quart.
Okay. So if you were substituting this and not using this, how many of these would you need to treat a hive?
It's not black and white.
Okay. Are you recommending this be used as a separate thing
yeah,
altogether?
I mean, to be honest, that's the best.
Okay.
Because of the way that it's being stored in the comb as well.
Okay.
So it's stored in the comb, it's sterilized in the comb as well. Also, when you're adding this, you're generally feeding them more. So more of the syrup that they're storing in the hive is got more hive liveness, so they're eating it for a longer period of time, which is better for their gut as well.
Okay.
So that's
And some people talk about the cost of this because we're looking at these bottles. 16.9 fluid ounces, for example, but how many hives would that provide treatment for?
that's 50 hives.
That's 50
hives. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 50 hives.
Okay.
So it goes a long way. Like we haven't. We're gonna have to probably do it this year, but we have put the price up in the 10 years we've been selling it.
Okay.
But the way things have gone, we'll probably have to put them up a bit this year. But
And shelf life on that bottle?
the shelf life now is actually 3 years.
And what's the best way to store it to extend the shelf life?
It's not be hot.
Not hot.
Yeah,
Refrigerator's okay, or
That doesn't even need a refrigerator.
But if they did, would it hurt it to be in the
no,
fridge?
it's fine.
No. Okay. Just not necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Okay.
Originally, when we were developing this first, we'd like people in the refrigerator because sometimes it would cause a bit of separation. It was just to take back out again, but now it's just we have it so stable that it's just, we don't get separation at all anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, the fridge isn't going to do any harm.
Excellent. Great to meet you in person. Thanks for talking to me.
These are way every the other ones are really good. Huh? Well, you use it every freaking day. No. Somebody's gonna buy new ones.
I'm being creative right now.
I get it.
Everybody knows they're sick of me talking about Hyde Butler. Like,
I don't know. There was just somebody here. I bought the Hyde Butler for one person and one person only. You know who that was? I go, Red Dunn. Yes.
what?
So excited to meet you.
I'm
in
so glad to
person.
meet you. Because last year I missed you.
I know.
saw you running around carrying
My
things.
drone. My drone.
I like your drone. That is not good because
Well, I know.
I'm recording all this, so just be aware. Yeah, I'm going to talk about drones in my presentation. I'm going to make everybody fry their eyeballs out because I'm going to move against the feminist society known as the Beehive. That's right.
Okay, I have to get a picture of Fred.
No, but
I did a meeting last
everybody
year.
knows. Oh, good.
You can be in it too.
Okay, so one of the reasons I want to talk about this is, especially in northern climates here in the United States and around the world even, this is the most convenient possible setup for people to keep bees because you can attend your bees in all weather conditions. Now you've got this on a trailer.
Yes.
Is it intended to be a mobile
Yes.
unit for pollination services or
Or
something?
either pollination services or situations like ours where we have like a 4-week like pollen or honey flow in certain areas.
Right,
And
okay.
then 4 weeks later, there's another honey flow in another area. So we move it around like every 4 weeks.
Okay, so you have these in service.
Yes.
How many do you
I
have?
have one in service right now.
And how long have you been doing that?
Since we tested out that prototype in the spring of 2022.
Spring of 2022, so
Yeah.
brand new. But
Brand
are
new.
you new to beekeeping as well, or?
No, it's more like a hobbyist since 2014, and then it kind of escalated from there.
Okay, so this is a big leap.
It is. It is.
So-
It was an overnight leap.
What was your inspiration?
Work smarter, not harder. And then I'm from Latvia.
Latvia,
Which
okay.
is around the Slovenia area. So looking at a couple of things from what they do with their bee houses or honey houses, they call them.
Okay.
Also built myself a beehive sauna and another trailer similar to what they do as well.
Okay.
And then this came from that and just kind of expanded. So, and then looking at all the things that, you know, with beekeeping, nothing's done in bulk.
Right.
Everything's still one by one. So our goal in the future, because we do have a lot of evolutionary products we want to introduce to,
Okay.
is to try to do everything in bulk, treatments, harvesting, things like that. And
Okay.
everything to be able to do in bulk.
Nice.
One by one.
So can we go over how they work?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So this particular trailer has 72 8-frame colonies.
Okay.
And this is just a show trailer, and this is a 7-foot trailer. The ones I offer are 8-foot trailers.
Okay.
Just to give a different configuration in each compartment. You can either do 2 deeps or 1 super, or you can do 1 deep and 3 supers in the 8-foot trailer. Now,
Okay.
if you do have a colony that's really strong, each compartment has a dividing board that separates the bottom compartment from the middle compartment and the middle compartment from the top compartment that you can pull out, and you can actually have a super hive that takes up all 3 vertical compartments. And
Oh, so you pull these dividers?
yeah, you can pull
Okay.
them out. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, what would something like this weigh when it's full of?
Well, they have 14,000 pound axles, so
Yeah.
the goal is to have the bees bring in as much honey and still have the capability of moving it. So.
Now, what about all these colonies are right side by side? Do you see problems with drifting or?
Not necessarily. I haven't had any problems.
Do you mind if
with
you're in the
drifting.
video? Okay.
Didn't have any problems drifting with my prototype.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with splits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are they designed around standard Langstroth size
Yes.
frames?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Your-
different.
Yes, your regular Langstroth size box, just kind of
So these are mediums. Okay.
Yeah, re-engineered to be a little bit lighter.
This venting on the side there?
Well, that's when you're putting them back in. There's bees. Some bees kind of end up kind of lingering on the sides there.
Okay.
So it keeps the queen out, but the bees can still go back into their hive.
Okay.
So go back into the frames. They're not. When you put the lid on, they're not trapped in there.
Now, are you recommending, you have plastic foundation there, I see?
Mm-hmm.
Are you recommending that people use plastic foundation when they're setting these up just to keep everything in order, or
I think you can use whatever kind of foundation.
can you do foundationless?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because what I noticed is the bees actually will build a comb in this little 3/4 inch area here.
Right.
And I'm working on making like a plastic.
And they'll propolize this too, it looks
They
like
don't
probably.
really. They propolize it not as much, to be honest with you, because
Really?
there's not as much water in these hives as there would be on the exterior hives.
I like that your poles are, sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but those are electric caps. That's pretty cool.
I started with the red ones and I drilled holes, and I remembered that the green ones already have holes.
Oh,
So
okay,
I
that's
have to drill
cool.
holes in the
Color
green.
coding, I like it.
But yeah, I'm working on an insert to put in here because they do build wax here
Yeah.
and they put honey in there to make like a, almost like a little foundationless piece of wax with honey. in it.
Now, are you in a cold climate where you
No,
do
we're-
this?
we're in
I see
Florida.
there that you're down in Florida. All right.
Yeah, we're in Florida. I do
So
have
how-
an air conditioner in this.
What's the climate in here like when the bees are?
In my prototype, I have holes drilled in the floor
Yeah.
and a fan in that vent part above your head.
Yeah.
And the fan doesn't really blow it. It draws air out, so it draws
Okay.
the air from underneath the trailer, which is the cooler air.
Yeah.
And I do have an air conditioner in this pocket here with a
Okay.
humidifier.
So what's the temperature that you're targeting?
Usually around 95.
95?
96.
So we're talking brood temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere between, depending on what the humidity is outside, but they keep it anywhere between like 65% to about 80% humidity.
Yeah, that's so hive, standard hive humidity level. Okay. Well, that's great. Have you sold any?
Not yet.
Oh,
It's Neil and John. And Chris.
Neil and John write me all the time.
Your dad is ready.
That's an entrance reducer?
No.
What is this? Let's talk.
Bottom board is 10 frame, right?
Okay. Oh, it reduces it to an 8 frame.
And it gives you the alignment pins.
Now, in the past, did you have an 8 and 10 frame version?
Nope. We always had the adapter.
Okay. I did not know that.
And then the box sits in this groove,
yeah.
and the pins line up into the inside corner so it can't
And
shift.
the screen stainless or aluminum?
Stainless.
Then we have the ultimate outer cover,
That's
the
the
smart robbing screen, and this is the one that's got the little peg,
mouse
so
guard.
it's also a mouse guard standoff.
So it's a robbing screen, a moving screen, and mouse guard.
Probably the most popular robbing screen on the
Probably
market. Lifting handles that are improved,
Yep. Now
so
they
they
latch.
stay in place and latch. What's the load bearing capability of that handle?
Probably 200-300 pounds.
200-300 pounds easy. Then you take them off, and that's what you have left on your hive. There we go. And we've got, of course, the hive tool holder
Right here.
being modeled by the company owner, Cliff. What do you want to tell us about? What's your top seller right now? What is
What's
everybody
becoming our top
interested?
seller is the Duo,
Okay.
which is the insulated inner cover.
Let's go over the insulated inner cover first. Some details about it.
Okay, the insulated inner cover consists of two components. It's the unit,
Okay.
the insulating board, which is an R10 insulation.
R10, and that's polystyrene.
This is polystyrene.
Okay.
It has an option
tunnel for an upper entrance.
Right, and then we come
With
right
an upper
through
entrance
there.
door on the outside and one on the inside.
Okay.
And it's designed in such a manner that it will not act as a chimney to let heat or humidity out because it has a long length and a shallow height.
Yep.
You can also rotate that around to block the upper entrance,
Okay.
so you don't have that option during most of the year. It has a top plug if you want to have top ventilation.
Yep.
We suggest leaving that closed with a plug to get a condensing hive.
Okay.
It's got a solid bottom that's domed, so any water that could build up on it would roll off to the sides.
Right. Okay. And we've got pegs
It
because
has
it's
alignment
8 or
pins
10 frame.
for 8 frame and 10 frame.
Okay.
And it has drainage holes in case any water that were to get in from the top would drain out along the edges of the hive. It also has our little risers to get your hive tool in.
And that leads us into your pry points that we have. Let's
Right.
talk about those.
Okay, so pry point is by far the easiest way to open and manage a hive. In, lift, you can put a few puffs of smoke in, lower it, wait your 30 seconds for the bees to calm down, and then you can lift it up again and get access to your bees. You won't disturb the bees, and you won't be able to access a hive any faster without destroying or damaging woodenware.
Okay, now the screws are stainless?
Stainless steel.
And this is ultraviolet
Yes,
resistant?
all UV treated.
Okay. Let's do a close one on this one right here.
And you don't have to even get centered as long as you get under.
There you go. Okay.
And this
saves
has
the wood. All right.
And this actually has 2 pivot points. The first one is a high pressure for breaking the propolis seal, and then the second one is for the lift.
Okay.
If you
Nice.
remember back in the day, remember Playtex bras?
Yeah.
What was their byline?
Lift and separate. Okay. All right, Cliff.
I'm
All
not sure.
right. I'm surprised I even remember that.
What?
All right, I'm surprised I remember
Everybody
that. So now
remembers.
let's go down the line and look at your cutaways over here.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the whole assembly. Let's go top to bottom.
So we put a handle on it.
We already talked about the outer cover, which is part of the duo.
Right, and you can
And
see
now
it's
it's got a
and you can
feeder
see it's a
shim.
double wall.
Yeah.
So you get an air gap. It's white, so it reflects the heat.
Yeah.
It never gets hot to the touch. It's got a drip edge on the bottom, so water won't roll against the hive.
Does that have to be painted?
Never.
Okay.
And it also has built-in risers in here, so you get passive ventilation. So there's a little air gap, so any heat that builds up between the cover and the inner cover will escape out.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
And about the feeder here that we have on top.
This
of
is
your
our
installation.
direct. This is our direct feeder. Holds 1 gallon. It's our new structural blue tank.
Okay.
It has the nipple on the bottom. It's got 4 alignment pins, so it won't slip off position. The tap unscrews off for easy access.
Now, over the years, you guys have improved this tank. In the past, sometimes it would mushroom down a little bit, but
Right.
this is a much sturdier
This
design.
new tank is a structural tank. It actually went through finite element analysis by a Yale engineering student
Okay.
who certified it that
Yep.
it's stronger than strong.
Nice.
Because it's spherical, it has all the strength of a sphere. We also have optional feet that
So
can
you
go
can
on the
stand
bottom,
it up.
so you can
Okay.
actually put it up a little higher on the
Yep.
insulated inner cover, and the feet store right on it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what time of year do you recommend feeding with that?
Me?
Yeah, you personally.
I feed.
Is that spring only, fall,
I
summer?
do it in the spring. I start early because this is the only feeder that allows you to feed without losing heat or humidity, so the bees can feed directly from the brood nest all the time, so they get maximum feed during
Okay.
the time when they're raising brood. And because of the insulation, the nurse bees will take care of the brood, which they wouldn't do if the hive was too cold or too dry. So this
Okay.
is the optimal way to build up your hive in the spring.
Nice. Okay.
I also use it in the fall to feed if I need feeding. And I am a big believer in using this as an emergency feeder during the winter.
Okay, so
2
what
to-
would you put in that? What
2
kind
to
of
1
mix?
sugar syrup
Okay.
and some salt. And if I watch the Fred Dunn videos correctly,
Okay.
it was Himalayan sea salt, not Celtic and not French gray.
Okay. All right.
Did I get that right?
Nice plug. Actually, it was The one that won out was Morton sea salt
Was it?
that the bees preferred most, but the next one down was pink Himalayan salt.
Right, that's what I
Yep.
use.
Yep. Those were neck and neck.
And the nice thing with this feeder is when you want to fill it, you have these dog bones on the top that keep it from rocking, so you get
Yep.
it stable.
Okay.
So I
Nice.
feed during the winter. This acts as an emergency feeder because the bees, when it's warm, they'll go for honey. If it gets too cold, they'll go up the heat column where you have the heat bubble under the insulated inner cover. The nipple is at the top. It stays warm. The bees can get access to syrup if they need it. The advantage of syrup is it's got the water in it already. If you give them fondant or sugar, they need moisture to
Correct.
be able to dissolve it.
Yeah.
And there was an article recently by Jamie Ellis that said it's rough on the bees' tongues.
Yeah.
Did
Okay.
you read that?
I did not. When did he publish that?
It was in one of the American Bee Journal.
Okay.
question
Jamie
and
Ellis from University of Florida. Okay.
answer. Okay.
So then we've got the cutaways down here. We already looked at the handles.
handles.
So now we're coming down here.
That's the robbing screen.
The robbing screen.
The robbing screen has two doors.
Yep.
It's designed with the ventilation in the front, but to keep it away from the doors, so the robbers are geared to go towards the middle, away from the doors for the bees. If they somehow the robbers find their way in, you shut one door, open the other door.
Keep them guessing. Okay.
Unless you're getting robbed, the preferred time to install this is at night when all the bees are home, so in the morning they know how to get out.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're in the middle of a robbing frenzy, put it on right away.
Okay. And then this bottom board that has the removable.
The bottom board is an can be used 8 frame or 10 frame. It also includes these entrance reducers and mouse guards. They're reversible. There's 3 of them. They snap into the bottom board. Easily
Okay.
removed.
So that's a mouse guard version.
And that's the entrance reducer version right there.
Okay.
We supply 4 of them, so you have an extra.
Okay. And they also have impressions up here, so they
Right.
store in that polystyrene insulated inner
Right,
cover.
on the
Okay.
insulated inner cover, you can store your robbing screen. You
Yeah.
can store the mouse guard entrance reducers and the cap. There's also an indent, and then there's a hole to put the pins in from that if you need to.
And then this all comes down to your hive stand.
That all stands on our hive stand. That comes 8 or 10 frame. This is our newest one with the curves. It's structural. It has the frame holders built in, and we actually make a nuke version now.
A nuke version. Okay.
The only difference being the length of the cross tubes.
Yep.
So if you have a license hive, you can get cross tubes. You have a BMAX, you can get cross tubes. If you're Canada and you have the bigger, wider boxes, we make it for that because it's only the cross tubes.
Okay. Coming on down the line.
Well, this is something you haven't seen yet. If you do migratory covers, you can now take our insulated inner cover, 6 screws, screw it in, and now you have an insulated migratory cover.
Okay. Wow.
And migratory covers, by the way, are automatically for condensing hives because they don't have holes. So there's no
Right.
top ventilation, there's no top entrance.
Okay.
And 80% of the bees in America are in these hives.
Okay. Nice.
Which to me is one question no one's brought up is why are hobbyist beekeepers so intent on upper ventilation when commercial beekeepers who make their livelihood don't believe in it?
Okay.
got
Good
an answer for
point.
that one?
You make a good point, Cliff. Well, I'm on board with no top ventilation. I think you already know that.
No, but why do hobbyists
Yeah.
think it's necessary?
Right.
And why do they think you need a quilt box? And why do you need a dry hive? I keep
Okay.
telling people the research is showing
Yeah.
higher humidity, higher CO2 is bad on mites.
It is. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are we missing here?
Yeah. Well, I think it's an evolution of how people are going to set up their hives, and I think you're describing it well.
We're trying.
Now, what do we have here on the end?
The last product is our uncapping system. So for a hobbyist with only a few hives, with a 5-gallon or 3-gallon bucket, put the frame holder on, put your frame in, and then you can take our slicer and you would slice through the cappings. It doesn't cut the cappings off, it puts a slice in the top, so when you put it in the extractor, the capping blows out, you don't lose any wax, and you get maximum honey, and the bees don't have much comb to rebuild after the process. Simple, and if you have a lot of hives and you're using some kind of mechanical uncapper or a knife, you'll miss capping. You get low capping.
Yep.
You can go in here and you can touch up on any hive,
Yeah.
If the boxes are stuck in, we have a separator. You put this between frames. You go click
Okay. Nice.
like that. Boom. You can separate things.
Nice. Okay.
And it's ergonomic handle.
Excellent. Now, if you wanted to clean that up, here's a question we get a lot: propolis and stuff on that. What's your method for cleaning up
For this?
Yeah.
A bucket with really hot water.
Bucket with really
Do
hot
not
water.
put it in your dishwasher
Okay. Good
if you
news.
want to stay married.
All right. Oh yeah, it'll come up your drains and everything.
Yes.
So I'm just going to do a scan down here. These are authorized dealers.
And these are everybody's at Hive Life.
And they're all here. Great. Well, thank you for that presentation. I
Thank you
think
very much.
everybody's going to enjoy it. This is where the important people talk.
Exactly. I've got you on my list this morning.
Uh-oh. Okay. So here we are at the Be Informed Partnership, the shirt that I recently won for free. And we're looking at some of these publications. By the way, if you don't have this, you need it. The link will be down in the video description. The Sentinel Collective. Sounds like a worthwhile organization. They seem happy. And then Sentinel Be Informed. So we're going to talk about first, what is the Be Informed Partnership? Oh, look who we have. It's Eric Malcolm.
Hello
So
there.
Eric, what do you do? Where do you do it? And what is Be Informed?
So, Be Informed Partnership is a national nonprofit that focuses on honeybee health and data-driven solutions for beekeepers. So we work with commercial beekeepers, backyard beekeepers, to help inform them on health of their colonies, what they can do to maintain that health, and just best management practices in general.
That's nice. How do people learn about your organization? Like, how can they contribute, or beinformed.org maybe?
Yeah, you can go to beinformed.org. There's a lot of educational resources.
And we'll
on
do
there.
a quick screenshot up here. I'm going to zoom in on your website, beinformed.org, and then we're going to talk about the Sentinel Apiary Program. This is Rachel.
So the Sentinel Apiary Program is a citizen science educational program for beekeepers. It's a colony health monitoring program, so beekeepers take their samples monthly, send them into our research lab. We process them for Varroa, Nosema, sometimes other things depending on the year and the needs of our participants, and then they get a report back with all the results.
And now, is this national, worldwide? How big is the partnership?
This is national.
It's national, so the United States, no Canadians, no. Okay, not at this time. All right. And how long has the Be Informed Partnership been going on?
Since 2011.
Since 2011. Okay.
Started as a NEPA grant, and that's how we started the Loss and Management Survey. So every year, if you get a reminder from your club or you see it online, please be sure to take that, because it helps not just our organization help people, but other researchers and scientists out there who are trying to find out causes of losses, that kind of thing. All that data helps to build that collective knowledge.
And so we talk about the data. You have to have somebody that handles all the processing that comes in. So we have, introduce yourself.
I'm Taylor Wilson. I'm a database engineer for Be Informed Partnership. And yes, to have data-driven solutions, we need a database portal where we can easily enter information in, and then also have some processes in place to get reports and analytics back to the public.
Okay. Now, are you also interested in bees, or are you a data analyst specifically?
Sure, I do field research when we have some that I'm working on. I keep my own bees. I've been a beekeeper since the late 90s.
Oh, nice.
And I worked in databases since the early 90s.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
it's been exciting to put the two together.
Nice. Thank you. And so, are you keeping bees also?
I am not at the moment keeping bees.
Not a beekeeper. Okay. Are you keeping bees also?
I
Oh, you
keep
do.
bees. I
So
do.
let's talk about your own bee experience. What are you doing?
Well, I've been keeping bees since 2017. Shortly after I started my own apiary management business. So right now I manage about 50 colonies, but on my kind of side gig, and I love that. About 30 of them are mine, and yeah, it's one of my favorite things, but is also sometimes my least favorite thing. It's a very love-hate relationship.
Okay, so one final word. Why should people join the Bee Informed Partnership?
Well, the Bee Informed Partnership is really working toward educating beekeepers and moving toward the best possible health for your bees.
Best practices, things
Best
like
practices,
that.
yes. And the more people who are involved, the more good that we can do.
Okay, that's a good closeout. Thank you so much for talking. Okay, so we're at the Ceracell display here, and we're looking at some of the things that they've had for quite a while. Like, I like to use their Varroa shake bottle. Sugar shakes works for all of that. They've got a lot of interesting stuff here, but let's introduce you to Thomas here. Thomas, what do you do with Ceracell?
So I am the major export manager, and I'm also one of the product developers here at Ceracell. So a lot of these products that Fred puts on his show is some of the products that me and my father developed.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're the main guys here at Ceracell, and these are just some of the products that we're showing at the Hive Live conference. Super stoked to see Fred. I work with Fred quite a lot, send him emails, send him product videos, I watch his YouTube channel. So yeah, it's really nice to finally meet you from all the way from Auckland, New Zealand. It was about a 14-hour flight to Vancouver. I then flew to Chicago and then drove from Chicago down, which is about 8 hours. So it's been a bit of a trek to get here, but really stoked.
Well,
Hive Live conference is great.
Glad you're here, Thomas.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's start off with what's in the box here.
Yes.
And those are Ross rounds, they look like?
That's right. So this is what we call our Ceracell double decker. Now what I really like about this is that it saves you the problem of having to buy the whole Ross round kit.
Right.
And it allows you to actually fit inside your normal deep hive.
Yeah, so what you're talking about there is when we use a Ross round normally, it's in a Ross round box that's distinctly designed just for that.
Right.
So this lets us use a standard Langstroth deep box, right? Okay.
So what we figured out was that the Ross round was actually designed for a Dayton style box, which is actually square.
Okay.
So otherwise you'd have to buy a $145 kit, but you can see that this frame does not fit at all. So it's actually designed for a square box.
Yep.
And what I dramatically found out was I just accidentally dropped it in a frame and it kind of sits perfect. So this is how I figured out how to do it.
Okay.
Was it sat inside a normal plastic frame, so I was like, well, if I can get two in there, surely I can just make something that just extends it a little bit, and that's kind of exactly how I figured out how to do it.
Nice.
So it was kind of a luck of the draw in how I did it, and then that's how I developed these clips. So I said, well, look, why can't we just make some clips that go and allow you to actually put this Ross round frame, double decker that we call, into a normal deep box, because most people will have a deep. So you're like, well, this makes it much more cost effective. This is about half the price, and if you want, you can decide to use one frame or a whole pile if you want. So it's up to you. So this is actually upside down. That's how we kind of developed it. It kind of goes in here on the top and then clips in the bottom.
Yeah.
And then this goes up the top and just slides down and clips in there.
Nice.
So how I kind of tell people how I use it, you can have a couple ways. You can have your standard frames and just go in together and just have one frame if you want. If you just want one
for comb honey,
a small amount of comb honey instead of a whole pile,
yeah,
you can just have that, and that will allow the bees to stop drawing it out as far, because you got this frame stopping the bees from drawing all the way out. But what you can do is, if you want, at home at the moment, I've got a whole pile of these on my hives.
Right.
Let's say you've got 8 of them, it'll fit all the way there, but you can't get another one there. So you want something to stop the bees drawing it out that far. So I stick just a normal frame on that edge, and it'll all sit really, really nicely up together like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your bottom board that you have here.
So we call this the Hive Defender floor. Now, we work in conjunction with the Beast Blocker. We actually launched the Beast Blocker out first. So it works in conjunction with a normal wooden floor, but it works really, really well with our Hive Defender floor. Now, these paddles come up and you'll feel a distinct sort of pressure. They only ever go to about 90 degrees. If you want, you can sort of stop it at a certain point, but it will eventually clip in. But if you want small amounts,
attention vendors,
you can allow them to come in.
if you have a meal ticket,
your initial
vendors with a meal ticket, that will be on your name tag. If you
we
have
can edit that out.
fork and a knife and a plate on your name.
So essentially the bees will, over 24 hours, once you put the Beast Blocker on, the bees will figure out how to go in and out and under, and then you see you've got a divot down here, so you've got space between the actual box and the Beast Blocker. So this drops down and then is flush. So this whole ridge is elevated specifically for it to cut off that entrance. So that's essentially how it works. The Beast Blocker will stop anything from getting in because the smell of the hive is what's attracting the non-home bees.
And they'll just keep going against where they have the scent.
That's right. They'll just sort of wander along there, but the bees will be happily landing on the box and going down behind.
Okay.
Now what it really does do is anything that doesn't belong to the hive, we then give them an extra out or a way to go in, because if they just keep going, they may stick around.
Right.
So what happens is we've got this little trap around the back, and it's got these little cones here.
Okay, yeah, you can trap wasps in there as well. Okay, cool.
So if you see here, we've got the vents, and this brings the smell of the hive into this trap.
Yep.
And they come out and intensifies the smell through these cones.
Right.
And then because the bees can't get in the front, the bees are then, or the wasps are drawn to this trap. They go in, can't get out, simply starve and die in the trap.
So there's no baiting in there, it's just the smell of the hive that draws them in, and because they're trying to get in through the sides and the back, they find that opening, go in.
That's right, they're like, look,
and you've
they
got
can
them.
get in, they can't get in the front, they get frustrated, you'll see them walk along the front, and then we give them this little out, and traps them. And the good thing about, say, if you've got robbing issues, or this is what we call a preventative floor, so if you've got any little scouts that are looking to rob your hive, you may find that you'll collect 1, 2, 3, or 4 bees.
Yep.
But you're stopping it before they go back and tell the hive to come.
If we can get those initial
initial scouts, they won't be able to tell the gang to come back. But if you've got a big robbing problem and you put the 4 on a hive that's been robbed out, this tray will fill up.
And you can pull the tray from the side, from either side, or
from
just
either side. Yeah.
Okay.
From either side. Yeah. So these are actually our bee escape cones.
And I like that you can also, without pulling it apart, you can just look through it because it's translucent. You
That's
can see if you've got anything or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I also really like about it is I like seeing what the bees are actually doing. So you'll see I get a lot of Varroa fall. You can monitor how well your Varroa treatments are working.
Nice.
I'll be able to see I've got natural Varroa fall when my treatments aren't working. So I might be like, okay, there might be a bit of an infestation now. So I might put a strip in and see if I get a fall. But I actually, one thing before I go into the hive, I'll pull the tray out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Then I'll just tap it, empty it out. You'll be intrigued to see what's actually in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's all sorts of stuff.
Great
It's not
teaching
just-
tool, by the
yeah,
way,
that's
to
right.
show people what falls through in the bottom of the
That's
hive.
right.
Yep.
So you'll see bees are cleaning, how clean they are. They're always cleaning. There's a whole pile of stuff in there.
Yeah.
And what you're actually catching, you'll be surprised what you catch. So.
Okay, nice. So other features for the bottom board?
Yep, so we've got this vent option. You can either vent or non-vent the hive.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to vent the hive, I'd vent it when you've got a honey flow. Helps the bees evaporate the water and the nectar. So help your bees cure the honey. And if you're in the winter and you want to reduce or help the bees maintain the hive's heat, just close the vent off and away you go. Or if you're transporting the hive, open the vent up, allow the ventilation, and
Nice.
you have no problem in transporting the hive. I actually really like the Beast Blocker because it just shuts the hive completely down. And if I come in the morning, I can just close the paddles, and you'll be able to pick the hive up. You're not going to get stung. I don't even wear a suit when I'm transporting the hives.
So your robbing screen becomes your transport screen.
That's right.
Okay. Now, are these coming in 8 and 10 frame bases?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So you can see where the sort of 8 kind of is. It's where the vents stop.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it is.
Are these currently available in the United States?
It's only been out in the last 6 months, so we've got another 6-month window.
6-month window.
It's just like a 12-month lag trying to get into North America. Got to get the distributors on board. They've got to buy them in containers.
So is there a ballpark if somebody's interested in some of the things we've talked about? What year or?
We're hoping this year, 2023.
2023. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we already have a lot of products that are available here.
So yeah, we got the Beast Blockers. Like those are quite easy to transport. It's the floors. Yeah.
Nice.
So I know Mountain Sweet would probably be the first one, Peerco, and then Blythewood. I think Mountain Sweet should be getting some in the next two months.
Okay.
So.
Any last words about Sericel you want people to know about?
Well, we're looking for distributors in North America. That's kind of our main goal here at Hive Live.
Yep.
We understand that people like Sericel products, but it's amazing how difficult it is to get distributors, get the product to the people that they obviously appreciate the products, but it can be a mission trying to get them here, unfortunately. But we are working, and we see everyone's feedback. And it's a work in progress.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.
Look at this technique. It's one knee, it's one foot under you.
Here's a stalker I found at Hive Life.
This is payback.
I do have a question.
Yeah, sure.
They mean nothing at all. They just talking about the mites, but they actually died.
Okay. So here we are, Apame Innovative Beekeeping Equipment. Now, I've started with these this year, and please introduce yourself and tell us what you do for Apame.
Hey, I'm Korhan. I'm the owner of Apame USA. It's our family company. It's my parents and I take care of the business. My dad is a well-known beekeeper on honeybees. He's a professor on honeybees. He was the head of the honeybee research labs at Arizona State University.
Oh, nice.
So we use our hives. We're not just like techies. I'm an engineer myself. My dad's a professor. We use our hives and we get feedback from people on how to make beekeeping easier for us and everyone else. And now we design new products out of it. So
okay, so let's start at the end here. So we've got in your offerings right now. This is the nucleus hive. So what makes Apame different from, let's say, a standard Langstroth hive? What are we talking about?
We have about R7 value insulation. I just cut out a sidewall. This is what it looks like inside the hive. It is very strong, very sturdy, and it's going to make sure that your hives are going to be, your colony is going to be warm. R value is basically the resistivity, how much it resists the penetration of heat.
Right.
So the higher the value, the better it is. And I got an R7 hive, which is equal to having like 6 inches of having a wood hive.
Okay, nice.
So, in the 7-frame hive that I say is just a Swiss Army knife of beehives, I claim that anything you want to do as a beekeeper, this is going to make that easier. This is going to make your life easier because you can have a 7-frame colony. If you don't want to lift much and you just want to have like a lighter, easy to carry unit, this is great. If you have small swarms, like if you find a late swarm, just you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
You can overwinter a 3-frame colony, a 2-frame colony. Our friend Hank in Kentucky has successfully overwintered 2 2-frame colonies for the last 2 years on each side. by having a frame of honey and 2 frames of brood on each side. All you have to do is just close the division board and put them in the middle. Because we know that the bees make a cluster and their tendency is to go up.
Right.
So you might have a very small cluster in the middle and have honey in the French frames, and they may not break the cluster and they might just die. So while the food is still there. This just prevents having them and have them get access to all the honey and utilize everything, all the resources inside as long as possible.
Now let's talk about supplemental feeding if we need that.
Supplemental feeding. We have the feeders built on top. Integrated feeders. The bees would walk up from here. They would get into this ladder-like structure.
Okay.
We just close this feed
And you also
selector
have a
cap.
setting for solid feed too, so they can actually come out.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we put like this. They can walk out, grab the food, and come back.
And you could feed both sides differently if you wanted to.
Exactly. And if
Okay.
you have 2 different colonies, that's the reason we have 2 separate feeders,
Nice.
so they don't go from one side to another.
Okay.
And if you're in Arizona and you're doing removals,
Yeah.
it's 100 degrees outside, you're on top of a ladder,
Yeah.
you're working with Africanized bees, you
Right.
want something really sturdy, you want to
Right.
make sure your equipment is not going to fall apart.
Right.
And I can assure that.
And the way this all clamps together is really handy. Now, is this an integrated part? We have the hive body, we've got this landing board, these are connected?
Yes.
Okay. So
That's why it is very sturdy and nothing's going to happen to it.
Okay.
I've seen what the shipping companies do to my hives.
Sure. And being able to clamp your hives together, like when the weather's rough and things like that, that's all built in. So do you also recommend strapping the hive down?
I recommend strapping a hive down if you have actually bear problems.
Okay.
So, like, my hives have survived multiple bear attacks, and it saved the roof of a beekeeper because the tree actually fell on one of the hives, and the hive kept the tree up there.
Okay,
The only
wow.
time that I would suggest you strap it is just basically if you have a wild animal that has a tendency to knock down the hives.
But the hive won't come apart,
But
so
the
that's the
hive
good
won't
news.
come apart. Exactly.
Okay.
Or if you're carrying it and all of these hives stack on top of each other.
Oh. So it nests right on the cover.
Exactly. So
Nice.
when you're carrying it in the back of your truck, you just strap it using the strap grooving here.
That's interesting. Now let's go over, you were showing me some new designs for the feeder. Why the
Yes.
change and what kind of changes do we have coming up with the cover and everything?
All right, so these were our existing feeders. Like there are 2 half feeders, take slightly less than a gallon, and the syrup feeding is the same, but for the pollen patties, they have to walk up here and they grab the food and go back like the other one. But in very cold climates, you want them to have access to the pollen patty or any supplement that you put there as fast as possible without
Nice.
little interruption. So after getting the feedback from our beekeepers in much colder climates than the ones in Arizona,
Right. Yeah.
we designed this new feeder which holds 4 liters, which is actually more than a gallon. So the capacity is more. You don't have to deal with the reversible covers. These just snap in, they stay there. And if you're going to feed them with the pollen patty, fondant, or anything that you want, you just
And they go right through
Right
that
there.
grid. Okay,
Or you
nice.
can just smear it in this cup and put it like this. And in the summer, when you're
And people
not,
that make their own sugar bricks and stuff,
Absolutely,
they
just-
could make it right in this.
Make
and
it
then make
for-
it, and then that's a block and it's ready to go, and then you just put it on when you need it.
Exactly.
That's great.
And then
That's
when
really
you don't
good.
need to feed it, you want to
Yeah.
make sure that they don't build burr comb here. You just
Right.
put it upside
Just
down.
reverse it. Nice. I really like that change. Now we still have little air holes around
Air
the
holes. And
edges
the
here,
bees-
and the bees can propolize it if they don't want the ventilation.
Exactly.
Okay.
This will have a cover.
Okay.
And the reason for that is just like this is almost ready. All it needs is a cover that
Okay.
is being manufactured. And the reason for that is like when you're beekeeping, you really hardly ever have a single hive.
Right.
And when you have this filled with syrup and you put it on the side for investigation, you don't want open syrup everywhere,
Right.
Because it's gonna like make
Attract
the colony,
robbers and everything, yeah.
It's gonna create a lot of problems. So once the lid is ready, this is gonna be ready for the U.S. market, and this is an upgrade that we just basically designed because of the feedback we got from beekeepers.
Okay, great.
And I always say that if you have feedback, come to us.
Yep.
We'll just get on the drawing board and see what we can do. We have a hive entrance that's going to be available in a few months. So it's just like if you have 2 colonies, some people were worried that they might actually get in like to the wrong side of that.
Okay.
So we just
So now we can have a greater distance between
we have a
them.
greater distance. So this is going to be just like the nook opening from the other side.
Oh.
And if you want to keep the pollen trap, integrated pollen trap in there, you can
okay.
actually keep the pollen trap, use the single colony like this, or if you're going to collect pollen, you just open this up.
Nice.
And if you have, there it is.
Good.
And this is the last kind of entrance reducer that's also going to be available. So if you're worried about like the spring cleaning, or if you have a wand type oxalic acid vaporizer, you can just replace this one. Just unscrew it from those 3 locations. You can just put this in, and then you have a much larger gap for the bees to do spring
Nice.
cleanup. Also, like again, if you have a wand like
Now, can I ask, what's the height? What's the opening of that there? Is it
I
3/8
do
or
not-
less?
It should be 3/8 or less.
If it's 3/8, then it acts also as a mouse guard, so that's a good thing.
I need to take a look at one more time.
If we double check it, but if it's at 3/8, it's great because we eliminate mouse guards, and now we can sweep out the bees.
Exactly.
And let's compare that with what the current configuration is. So if we lift this up, this is what we have now. And one of the issues too with the other entrance you showed is that if we had this split and we had 2 colonies, these are very close, where now with the new entrance design you would be able to separate that more.
Exactly. So it would be much further away.
Yeah. So that's a great change. Now if people have this box and this current entrance, will they be able to buy just the new upgrades?
Exactly. Any upgrade that I have on any of my products are will always work with the older versions.
Nice. Okay.
Like, I want to make sure that I create a common platform that people can just swap out parts and don't have to buy a brand new unit to have the latest features.
Great. Excellent. Oh, I like everything you've shown us. Yeah,
well,
fantastic. So thanks a lot for interviewing and showing us what you're doing. We wish you all the best. There'll be a link down in the video description to Apiame. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Now, where did this honey come from?
B. Gus Mitchell.
B. Gus Mitchell. Oh, right next to you here.
Yeah.
He makes you say that, doesn't he?
No, he.
Oh no, here's the old manual method. Now, is there a risk of overheating with that?
No.
And why not?
Why not? Because it's already preset to a specific temperature.
There's a thermostat built in? Okay, thank you. What is that temperature that it's set at?
Around 290, give or take 10 degrees.
290, nice, nice. And talk to me about your uncapping tank.
You want me to talk about it? So they're on capping tank. So the filter's not included, but it comes with your top tank and your bottom tank. Bottom tank holds about 5 gallons. Underneath here you have stainless steel food grade. And
Stainless steel guaranteed not to taint the flavor of your honey. That comes from the cappings that we don't want to dispose of.
Correct.
That's excellent. I love that story. Now there's 10% off of everything.
Yes, sir.
For all my viewers, or just today here at Hive Life?
Just today and tomorrow here at Hive Life.
Today, here, and tomorrow. Now, you have this optional filter, right? How many microns?
600 microns.
600. Do you recommend people get that?
I would recommend.
Absolutely. Anybody that doesn't get that is asking for too much work. Am I right? That's a good answer. Now let's go over here to the knives. Ooh, manual knife, no heat, hard no. Now we come over here. what's the difference between all the different knives we have? This one looks like it has steam fittings on it.
Yeah, so this is our steam fitting. But if you want to come back here to this one, this is our newest product here. This is our 12-inch, perfect for deep frames. So you can run across.
Describe a deep frame and why that's perfect for it.
Describe a what?
A deep frame. You said it's perfect for deep frames. Why?
So typically people in Texas are going to run deeper body frames. So a deeper body is just going to contain more.
And then, I get here a little bit later because I'm going to go speak here today. And I get over there in the entourage and I'm like, where's Steve? There's Steve down here. I'm like, Steve! Yelling across the room. Everybody in the place stopped. And was like, sorry. Okay. And this is your son, yes?
No, he's the son of Fred.
Okay.
Okay, so if you would just introduce yourselves. We're at Hive Life, and you've got a really interesting hive design here. That's a kit that you actually put together. And you're originally from where?
Israel.
You're from Israel.
Yep.
So now, how long has this been in use?
About 3 years. Developed about 3 years.
3 years.
We sell in Israel about more than a year. More
Okay.
than 250 hives already sold. Mainly
Okay.
private houses, school, community gardens.
Okay.
And in Israel we sell it already assembled with the bees inside. We grow the bees.
Now, is this the size of the actual hive, or is there much? This is
we
it.
have another one, longer one. With this is 15 frame. We have one with 25 frame.
With 25 frames. Yes. And they're also insulated, so you could use this in a colder climate as well.
It's you see, it's 4 centimeter insulating.
Okay.
That you see from the. That's like we cut hives. So Cut you two. can see
Okay. And if you would just go over some of the features.
And then we make this part that if you want to change it from a square one to a round one, you put this between two frame. When they finish building, then you take it and then you put it in. Then you put the queen and you have a new round
This is a way
hive.
to convert
You
from
don't
a
need to-
regular beehive to a
You don't need to
round
cut, you know.
So this is kind of taking the place of a top bar hive, for example.
not top bar, but
It's
it's-
kind of between the two.
Yeah, you know,
right?
but in top bar, it's closed at flat top, and you're not you don't
Correct.
see anything.
Right.
The thing here is it's a 180 degrees.
You can
observe the bees at night. You know, you open it at night and
Right.
you can see what happened. There is no any other hive in the world that you can observe it at night.
Okay.
Open it and see. This you open
And
at
show
night.
us again how you would peel off the layers on the inside of this, or how that works. So that's the cover, and that's insulated or not insulated?
Yes, all insulated.
Okay.
It's the same.
That looks like a covered wagon,
Some people say it's like a beer barrel.
a beer keg or something. Okay. Which is, there are keg hives. Yeah.
You know, the first hive was round. Like they found hive about
Sure.
3,000 years ago in the King Solomon time.
Right.
It was round. It was nearly the same size, but it was made of clay.
Right,
Mud,
okay.
mud, mud.
Okay.
It was also 800 by 40 diameter. It's nearly the same size. They find 30 hive like this in a town.
And
we believe that the round shape is much better for the hive, for the bees. You know, there are many advantages. The temperature, it's much easier to keep the temperature. It's around because there are no corners. So
Okay.
The spread of the temperature is equal. And also to clean the hive for the bees, it's easier because all the dirt goes down and then they can just shovel it outside easily because there's no flat surfaces.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And we have two entries in the summer. The ventilation is much easier. There's air going in and out. So I think we feel, and also we realize that we something. discover that if it's open and it's light, then the bee is much calm than the normal because when you open it, they're already in this form. It's not like the box that you take it from the dark to the light. It's a light already.
Okay.
Also, the temperature doesn't drop much. You know,
Right.
most of the time you just open, you can look. There's no change in temperature. And if you want to feed it, you see, you only slide it like this, and you can feed it, and then you
So
close
it's a
it.
frame style feeder?
Yes. You
Okay.
know, this is the feeder.
Okay. Interesting.
And to take the honey out, usually we found out that the honey is on the side. The queen will stay in the middle. So when you look here, you see it's filled with honey. You just open it. You take the frame
Now,
out.
how long has this been in use? How long have you been
We
working
sell
with
it
this
more than a
design?
year and a half.
More than a year and a half?
It took us about 2 years to develop.
And what kind of feedback are you getting from the people that buy them? They're working well?
People enjoy. It's a different way of dealing with bees.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially for the amateur beekeepers.
Yeah.
Because they can really look at the bees whenever they want. Sometimes they open it at night just to look at the bees are all right.
Now, if somebody's looking at this and they want to look into the pricing on the kits and things like that, where do they go? You have a website?
We have a website. We sell only in Israel. You can order it by our website. We don't deliver to the state yet. We are going for crowdfunding around March.
Okay.
And then it will be available all around the world.
So crowdfunding like Indiegogo or
That's right.
Indiegogo?
Indiegogo
All right.
or Kickstarter.
So when you do that Indiegogo campaign,
That's right.
will you send me a link for that so we can put the word out? Okay.
And you see, we make this also. And
Yeah.
you want to have a small, you can put it here, and then you reduce it. You know that it's be much more warm in the until they get bigger.
Nice.
And to take the honey out, you just take the frame, and there is a stand.
Hold on.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and you
You
just
make this one, then you turn it upside down, and then it's dripping to the.
Now, what's the foundation?
We use wax.
We use wax,
Use
but
wax.
we didn't bring here. because-
Okay, so that just as for
This
model
is-
purposes,
yeah.
that's a plastic foundation. But
Everybody
you
here
use
uses
straight
plastic.
wax.
we
not
use
use
we
plastic.
don't use plastic.
Okay.
And in all this hive, there is only one screw here. Here, this one. The only screw is this. There is all the parts, they glue together.
There's no metal.
No metal.
Okay.
Like you see, we have like special tools that come with the kit.
You see here, you can see how this tool we make.
If you want to glue,
You want to glue it, you put it like this. You
Okay.
have a couple of them. When it's dry, then you take it out, sew it away.
Okay.
so
And
with
you
the
don't
kit-
need any tools.
with the kits, you get the glue, all the parts, and you don't need any tools.
We make also like this. People in the school, they want to, then they can connect. We make different sizes. They connect it to outside the wall.
We have like this.
So
in
like
a-
an observation hive.
Yes,
We
Okay.
have like in a farm, in a city farm, so they have it inside the class. They have hole in the wall.
Then we make a stool for that you take
For
with
watching
you.
bees?
Yes. You put your stuff
Oh,
in.
nice. Pull that open again, please. Oh, that's good.
And then you can take it, and then you can sit. When you're looking and watching the bees.
That's the hard part. Yeah, watching
This
the
is
bees.
yes, the enjoyable.
Okay, that's great. And this is your website right here?
Yeah.
There we go. So you're in the middle of my YouTube video. I'm here with Terry of Guardian Bee Apparel, who has just been visited. Oh, it's Natalie. Oh, and her parents, her dad. And her mom is here. And then here's Terry, the man that became.
We got them all. Everybody's hanging out.
Let's talk about Guardian Bee Apparel. Show
talk
us what's
about it.
awesome about your stuff. Thank you.
I'd say probably one of the latest things that we put out that we haven't really put a lot of marketing behind is our newer style of gloves. We
Okay.
have ventilation all the way down. We have appropriate length fingers. You get your dexterity. You
Nice.
can feel what you're doing. You got nice soft goat leather.
That's goat skin, okay. So
Yes,
we're not
sir.
exciting the bees like we would with the cow skin, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. You got a nice pull pad so that you don't have to pull on this.
Nice.
Keep the durability. We go with the long style. This is what we put up first.
Yep.
And the reason we do that is because this is a larger investment. If you buy a suit or
Right.
a jacket, with this, you can take your working area where you get snags, and if you happen to have that happen, you're going to damage a lesser expensive item.
Okay.
You can replace the gloves easier than you can replace the jacket.
So what is the life expectancy of a glove? I realize that that's a floating scale depending on if you're a commercial guy.
Right.
Who's buying these most? Backyard
Mostly
or commercial?
hobby to sideliners.
Okay.
Sideliners are telling me usually a good season
Yeah.
is what a sideliner's give me.
Yeah.
He's been on the market for a year and a half.
Okay.
And hobby level,
Yeah.
people are still rocking.
They just
right
use them.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the next question is, they get dirty.
They
So
do.
what do you recommend? It's got goat skin in it. What do we do to condition and clean that?
So leather conditioner,
Yeah.
we recommend that beforehand.
Okay, so like saddle soap or something?
Yep. There's
Okay.
several different ones. And then the best way to wash them is going to be on a delicate cycle.
Yeah.
We
And then
don't
what kind of
recommend putting them in
detergent?
a dryer.
Tide.
With a soft detergent. Yes,
What
Tide
are we
detergent.
doing now? Let's go look at some hoods.
Let's check
That's
them out.
really kind of the most distinctive thing about. You were the original to put zippers on the front of your hoods. Is
Yes,
that right?
sir. Yes, sir. Had a little bout of heat exhaustion and decided
Nice.
I didn't ever want to go through that again. And we redesigned the veil. We created the easy access veil. This was the first one that we came out with. It's a really deep veil. It's great for beginners. It's people that are nervous about bees
Keeps the
or
bees
people
away
that are
from
highly
your
allergic.
face.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to give you a good deep veil. But it can be a little bit floppy. So if you're an experienced beekeeper, we recommend moving over to the ProFit, which is going to only have one panel, and it's
Right.
going to stay much more aligned with your line of sight.
Nice. Okay.
We originally did not sell a round veil
Yeah.
because I didn't want to sell something I didn't like. But
You
this
don't like it?
gentleman,
That's my favorite veil.
Really?
You don't like it?
Corey was getting a lot of requests for it.
Yeah.
Told him if he could
The
make it better,
adjustable
we'd sell it.
headband I see in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He made the hat part much deeper so that you can get a real seat.
Nice. Okay.
We got a good elastic inner band to keep it in place.
Yep.
And
Oh,
then we
that's
have
cool.
the bungee with the slider to come up under your chin.
Nice.
You can do a cartwheel in these now and they'll stay
Okay.
right in place.
Now who's buying those? Backyarders?
You know, to be honest with you, it's so random and down to preference. I haven't been able to associate a style of veil with a style of beekeeper yet.
Oh,
I've been
really?
at this for 5
What's your
years.
most popular selling hood?
This.
That one. Okay.
ProFit is the most popular.
Okay.
Yes,
And is
sir.
there still enough space from your face to keep a bee from stinging your nose and stuff? Is this rigid enough, this panel right through here?
Depending on positioning.
Yeah.
It
Do you
is-
recommend they wear a ball cap under it or something? Okay.
Ball cap's great. But there's quite a few tricks you can do. One of the ones I usually do at home is I tend to sweat a lot, so
Yeah.
I'll keep a sweat rag right here.
Okay.
And that will push this out naturally. And then if I need to,
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
a couple fingers in, I can wipe my eyes.
Yep.
Just leave it right there in place, and that way that
Nice.
gives me that buffer. But the hat also, is
Nice.
good.
So let's talk about the difference between a full suit, wearing a jacket, getting jacket and pants separate.
It's all down to preference. And I come from a background of hazmat, turnout gear, where things are mandatory. With
Okay.
beekeeping, you may wear nothing but
Yeah.
a t-shirt and jeans. So
You want to wear some clothes. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, protective clothing isn't something you have to have.
Right.
So
yeah.
So it all
aligned
comes
with
down
what
to
your
personal
bees are doing.
preference. I do recommend for new beekeepers to at least suit up to the point to where they can focus on the bees without being nervous. Because you're never going to know if it's something you're going to be passionate about.
Right.
If you have to be nervous to experience it.
So it's a confidence building stage.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also in the summer, when you go into a dearth, suit up.
Bees are feisty.
Yeah. There's times of the year
Everyone
that they're-
should have protective clothing, whether they're actively wearing it or not, but you have a responsibility to be prepared to respond to bees that might become potentially dangerous.
As usual,
So you're the beekeeper.
Frederick Dunn said it
Yeah.
better than I did. That was what I
Okay.
was trying to say.
All right. So we've got the full suits and then you offer pants. I don't know of anybody that sells the pants separate like this, because I guess the jacket gets worn most often. And do you sell a lot of the pants or the one piece?
The suits outsell the pants. Suits and jackets are top sellers.
Okay.
But the pullovers and the pants, and they're making a strong move forward. We haven't put a big marketing push behind them.
Okay.
But if you go by item, the gloves are actually our best seller. The people that have discovered them and have been referring them have got them moving really well.
Okay, well, Terry, I want to thank you for your time. We're going to say hello to Dirt Rooster's about to take a sip of his empty cup. Thank you, Randy. Take care. Hobby beekeeping is a way of life. So here we are at Hive Life with Dr. Erica Shelley, who I've interviewed before, so we'll put that link down in the video description. And let's talk about what's going on at Hive Life, what you're presenting at your booth, and what the future looks like for what you're offering.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks so much, Fred. You've been everywhere. You apparently know everybody at Hive Life, which is really impressive. Yeah, a little bit about Best for Bees. So about a year ago, we launched a product called the Protect-A-Bee, and Fred was actually one of our very first backers with the Protect-A-Bee, and we got those out to our backers just this summer. And in the meantime, we've actually been working on an entirely new product for beekeepers to make beekeeping life easier. So that's really what we are about Best for Bees, is doing what's good for the bees, but also making life easier for beekeepers and in general hobby beekeepers. We really want to make the transition into beekeeping as easy as it possibly could be. So our brand new product that we have is our Protect-A-Bee health plan. So over here, we're going to walk on over here. We actually got a lot of people right in front of you now. So we're going to come right on over. This is Mel. Mel is one of our volunteers at Best for Bees, and she's been helping us out. And we're just going to talk about the health plan here. So take a look here. So basically, the way our health plan works is, if we take a look actually here, every month our beekeepers are going to be receiving exactly what they need to keep their bees healthy. So it's receiving the right thing at the right time based on the region that you live in. So we have a huge research team that is talking to apiary inspectors, commercial beekeepers, and universities to divide up those regions so that we're actually delivering the right thing to that right area at the right time. And so coming in your package every single month, we are having possibly treatments for varroa mites, but also nutritional supplements to keep bees healthy, as well as, you can see kind of over here, yeah, I think we're going to be following a group of people in. We'll be receiving some sort of innovative beekeeping tool or something that commercial beekeepers have told us makes it a lot easier for beekeeping. So they may be things that have to do with actually out at the hive, but we may actually have some things we will have some things to do with the hobby side of beekeeping, the fun products that you get to make. So for example, learning how to make candles or beeswax wraps, mead, and that kind of stuff as well. So that'll be some of the things that'll also be coming in the subscription product. As well, with the Bee Health Plan, we have a brand new software program that will be sending email and text reminders to let you know when you should be putting things into your hive, or like in the case of certain mite treatments that need to come out after a certain amount of time, to remind you, go take them out so that you don't develop resistance to those particular things in your hive. And we also have both a conventional and organic plan, so people can choose sort of how they want to do their beekeeping package.
Their management
so
practice.
specific
Okay.
for them, yeah.
That's fantastic. So do you have a lot of interest so far in this program?
Oh, huge! Like, you know, we at Hive Life we have people walking around that have 10,000 hives.
Right, absolutely.
And people that are walking around that have 40 hives. And then we have the hobby beekeepers. So we have people that are thinking about it, or those people with a few hives.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is that hobby beekeeping group that's the most interested.
Okay.
We have a lot of master beekeepers here who are teaching beekeeping classes, and they're going crazy over this. They're like, this is perfect for those people coming in that just don't know what to do.
Okay.
You know, our tagline is we're taking the bee havers and we're turning them into beekeepers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, when will the subscription program be available? Is it available now, or when will it launch?
So we're launching in April.
Okay.
And so we're taking, you can sign up for subscription now. We do have a discount code until the end of January, Hive Life 2023. So, people are listening to this and they're, listening to your Hive Life coverage. So you're fine to use that subscription discount code.
And is your website and information on that little card there?
It is. So back here.
So we can actually look at that.
Yeah.
Freeze frame it. Okay. Oh, excellent. The pricing is on there too.
It's on there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one of the things we just want to really just point out is that at the end of the day, everything that we're doing here is just going to make things easier for hobby beekeepers. We really want to, really point out that beekeeping actually isn't a hobby, it's a responsibility. And that taking care of your bees is part of taking care of everybody's bees around you. And the only way you can do that is by knowing, the responsible and best practices for beekeeping in your area. And so we're just going to help out with that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well said. So I want to thank you for your time and thanks for interviewing. And I'm so glad you had a booth here at Hive Life 2023. Do you think you'll be back next year?
Oh, without a doubt. This
Absolutely.
is crazy. This is crazy in a good way. There's just so many people and great speakers. Yeah,
Nice.
It's been fantastic.
Okay, thanks again. We wish you all the best.
We're tying it into weather. We're going to be tying it into rain patterns. We're also going to be tying it into reported pesticide use, and all of that is going to. And then we're going to be able to see when we see mite spikes, when we see changes in how much honey is being produced.
Then people in the same zone will get alerts and things
They'll
like that.
not only get alerts, but in the long run, we're going to be able to predict when the mites are going to spike. And so we're going to actually be able to do predictive treatments ahead of time before they're actually an issue. So, so people know, that certain weather conditions in certain areas result in certain types of honey flow or mite issues or more small hive beetles. We're going to be able to tie it in with all of the pests and diseases and honey production and all of that, with having all that input come into us over time.
So here we are at Hive Life, and we're looking at.
My name is Slava Stroganov. I'm from Strong Microbials. I'm the CEO of the company. We're here at Hive Life. What a wonderful conference! It is enormous. We're here presenting our products. We are a microbial company. We make probiotics. We're located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We grow our own bacteria, we blend it, and we package it. That's what we do. Here we are presenting products. Our Super DFM Honeybee. It's our probiotic for honeybees. We also brought our new products called Super DFM Extend, so that you can put it into the syrup if you like. And we also brought another product called P801, and that particular product is used for pesticide inhibition. Here's P801. Is this one. So essentially what I would like to for everyone to know is that microbes can do a lot of things, a lot of beneficial things for the bees. For example, if you're in a dearth period and you have to feed artificial diet is very similar in nutrition to the real pollen and real nectar. However, it doesn't have any microbes on it. And it is imperative to have microbes because they're the ones that will actually digest this food and secrete what's called short-chain fatty acids, which is the microbial fuel for all your metabolic processes, for longevity, reproduction, work, immunity. Energy is a budget, it all depends on how you spend it. It is important to have microbes in the gut because they're the ones that will actually do the work, generate energy, and keep your bees thriving. I think that's the most important message of this. We are able to also inhibit a number of diseases with our products. We can control chocolate quite well, and I'm really thrilled with this because we don't kill anything, we competitively exclude it. We muscle it out by having a very large population of beneficial microbes that are creating a very unfavorable environment for the pathogens. Nature has both pathogens and beneficials. Our goal is to keep it out of the gut of the honeybee and out of the hive, because then the hive thrives. That's the overall essential message that I want everyone to understand about microbes. Microbes do a whole lot more, but this is the basics of what it does.
Okay. So how would they deliver something like that to their beehive? How do their bees ingest the microbes that you're developing?
Of course. All of our products are freeze-dried. They're lyophilized, meaning that they are sleeping. They're not dead, but they're metabolizing really slowly. Moisture is what activates them, what wakes them up. A lot of our microbes are anaerobic, so we want them to wake up exactly in an oxygen-free environment or very little oxygen. So whenever honeybee partakes of a dry powder, which you can just dust the top bars of your brood chamber, take a tablespoon of our products, dust the top bars, and the bees will consume it. They will consume it within 24 hours, but we have evidence that they consume it within 6. Everything is gone. That's a perfect way to deliver products, deliver our probiotics, because the activation of the microbes is exactly where they should, right in the gut, exactly in the perfect environment. And when they activate or wake up, they hit the ground running. A huge population of beneficials will not only populate the gut really quickly, but they will outcompete pathogens if there is pathogens present, and they will do the digestion of the artificial diet immediately.
So when you dose them with these microbes, do they also reproduce and expand on their own? So you're kind of seeding the gut? Is that what we're doing?
So microbes do expand and reproduce on their own.
Okay.
However, the gut is dynamic. It really is. I see the gut as a big airport, and the microbes, the beneficial microbes, are kind of like the TSA agents, to be honest with you. They will check if there's any pathogens coming in. They will guide them out, essentially. They will not allow pathogens to stick around and wreak havoc. Essentially, the environment is very unfavorable for pathogens when they enter. Additionally, the microbes do get used up during the process because once again the environment is also dynamic. Bees may get into a pathogenic plant, or bees may get into pesticides, for example, that are sprayed by either a neighbor or local agriculture production or power companies, for example. And it can also suffer certain losses due to our own treatments of the hives. For example, certain treatments of for example, for mites may reduce the overall population of the gut microbes. It wouldn't be a whole lot, but it still counts. It still is a loss. So yes, microbes do reproduce. The microbes do carry from one generation to the next. But for example, during the dearth periods, there's nothing coming in. So if there's no replenishment, they get used up. So that's why we recommend during the active time of bees to resupplement, just for these reasons.
And so what I'm looking at down here, we have a bunch of different varieties of Super DFM. And so you have it for other animals aside from bees. So is there just one formula for bees, or do you have multiples? How do people know what to get?
We have a very particular formula for a particular species because it all depends on what they eat. Different species, for example, dairy cows have they eat different food, and they require different types of microbes to digest that type of food. Some of the microbes are conserved, and they do overlap just because, for example, Lactobacillus plantarum is present in almost all the species on this planet, to include fish. So, and as well as us. There's a little bit of overlap, but a lot of these products are very species specific based on the food that they eat. And we've started with the dairy industry. That was our first introduction to the microbial world. But we since expanded to other species, animal production species, for example, just because there is a need for that. There is a need to reduce antibiotic use. There is a need to improve the feed conversion ratios, for example, for the food that the animals eat, and to keep the overall health of the animal in a top condition, because we're able to do it with microbes. Microbes do run the show. That's essentially it.
So for the backyard beekeeper, small-scale beekeeper, what kind of investment are they looking at? What's it going to cost them to treat their hives, and how often would the treatment be required?
Oh, sure. The treatment is around $1 per application, $1 to maybe $1.50 an application for a backyard beekeeper. We recommend resupplementing, if possible, every 30 days or every brood cycle during the active time of bees, meaning that if bees, for example, are clustered for the winter, leave them alone. They know exactly what they're doing. Before bloom starts, we recommend supplementation just to kickstart the hive, keep it going, make sure that it has an excellent boost to get the actual production going. At the same time, if bees are in a dearth period, for example, it is very important to resupplement, because first you have to feed them. If bees don't have enough food, they will consume their honey stores, they consume their pollen stores, and the queen may shut down if there's no protein. You have to have protein to make babies. So at the time of dearth periods, at the time of treatment, say for mites, if you are opening the hive to do any type of treatment, please use our products. It is very important. It is compatible with every treatment that is available on the market for bees except antibiotics. So steramycin, oxytetracycline, and tylosin, unfortunately they're not compatible. And if you are going to use antibiotics, please resupplement about 7 to 10 days later, because antibiotics will cleanse the gut and we will reseed it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time and
Absolutely.
for presenting, and I'm glad you're here at Hive Life.
Likewise.
Excellent.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Yep. And so here we are at Hive Life 2023, and I've been dragged in here to look at this new smoker, and as it says down here, cool smoke with fire retardant. And I'm talking to John Sullivan and George here, who's from Greece. And tell us about it. What makes it so different?
We saw this at Apamundia in Istanbul in August. Anel, George's company, developed this because in Greece, it's like Southern California in the summer. Everything's dry, brittle, and when the wind's blowing and it's hot and dry, they are not allowed to use their smokers because of forest fires. So Anel company decided they could fix that. So they've done something more than just fixed it. They've made a smoker that is foolproof. I'm a beekeeper. I've been a beekeeper just about all my life. I still sometimes pick up my smoker and there's no smoke.
Right.
This prevents that. So we have wooden pellets, and they look like the pellets that work in your grill, but they're coated with a non-flammable material. So it actually extinguishes the fire. So we have an electric battery, a glow plug, and we put about 6 ounces of the pellets inside.
Okay.
So you take your battery, you can charge this with your car or with 110 volt current.
Okay.
And it takes, on a normal battery, it's about 5 minutes, but we put a big battery in just for showing, so don't think that yours is not working.
Okay.
But for show place, it takes about a minute and we get a little wisp of smoke, and it will never get hot. You can run this thing for an hour and a half on a battery charge, and when it's done, unplug it and put it on the seat of your car. No burns, no scorches.
It never gets hot.
Never gets hot.
Now, can I pause you for a second? What's the honeybee's response to this kind of smoke as compared to?
It's just smoke.
Is it the same? Do they react the same?
Exactly the same.
And it's pheromone interrupting in the same way? Okay.
And you have lavender or pine. You have a choice.
Lavender or pine. You're starting to make it smell good for people.
Well.
All right.
So see, now you've got a little bit of wisp of smoke coming.
Yeah. Okay.
And you use it just like a regular smoker. So you pick it up, give it a little bit of time.
Okay.
Now, if you put your hand here, you'll notice that there's absolutely no heat.
You can even touch
Yeah.
So if it doesn't generate heat, why do we have this guard around the smoker?
Because they
can?
buy a standard smoker and
This is just a custom smoker that we.
It's not to preserve the fine finish on the can. Or, okay.
Also because inside here you can even burn any other material.
So you can swap it
want.
out. It still leaves it open to use a traditional fuel if you wanted to.
We don't like to tell you that, and the reason is if you put pine needles in here and put the electric battery on it, it is not cool smoke. It is smoke and it's hot.
With flame.
So basically you can see that it works just like a smoker.
So are there substitute fuels besides what's provided by this company, or is that part of
There
the invention?
is, but we're not ready to introduce those yet because that's going to cloud the market a little bit in the United States.
Okay.
I'm not saying that beekeepers can't adapt,
Right.
but I don't want any accidents, and that's what prevents
So we're
that.
talking about this fuel. What's the price point going to be on a bucket of that?
A bucket of that's about it's 8.8 pounds, and it's about $30, $25 to $30.
So $30 for that bucket.
And the smoker itself is in the $130 range. We wholesale, so we don't dictate prices.
Okay.
So to turn it off, all we do is unplug it. Now, now the pellets will continue to smolder for a while.
Right.
They'll go out, and there again, there's no heat.
It's never hot. Okay. Great for people that have polystyrene hives and things like that they want to sit it on plastic and so on. It's always a concern.
And it's great for new beekeepers that don't have to worry about lighting a smoker because it's pretty foolproof.
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
You get
Now,
about an hour and a half off of a charge.
so if somebody's watching this right now, where do they buy one if they're interested?
They go
Is
to
there a website?
southeastbee.com.
You have something that
We have-
shows the website?
Right there.
Okay, let me just get a shot of that real quick. Southeastbee.com. Okay.
And we have about 80 dealers across the country, and they will have these in-house about the early March. We're waiting on a container right now.
So availability early March of
when
this year.
When we showed these at Istanbul at Apimundia, I didn't know how they'd go over in the U.S., so I didn't order a lot. So the ones that I got in, I sold all but one, and that's this one right away. So now we know they're going to be hot items, and people are going to like them. I mean, they're just so easy. So see now, this is ready to put in your car.
Right.
Okay. You don't have to put a plug in it. You don't have to do anything to it.
So that's Velcroed on there.
Yeah,
I see.
just
okay.
pops right off.
All right. Now, what's the life expectancy of the battery unit that comes with it?
It's a lithium ion, so
okay, rechargeable.
I can't really tell you. Probably 3 years, maybe.
Maybe
That's
300 cycles full charge.
That's a good guess.
Somewhere around there. Okay.
And we have replacement batteries, and you know, if you have a lot of hives, you can buy 2 batteries and then just swap the batteries as you go.
So that's the next. Well, yeah, you would have to have a lot of hives to really
hour and a half.
use up the battery and go through several smoker loads. So for the backyard beekeeper, it's going to last you a while. Okay. Nice. Well, thank you for that presentation. I appreciate it. And Guardian and these guys. And then there's Jason at Bohemia Bees. What do we got to talk about today, Jason?
Hey, Fred. Well, we're going to talk about an invention that Brian from Castle Hives and I put together when we got tired of painting bricks, marking on the lid of our covers, and we said, you know, there's got to be a better way. So we thought of a way to take the status of your queen and put it into a convenient dial that you can affix to the front of your hive. When you look at the dial, it has 5 settings. Typically, when you inspect your hive and you realize you have a queen right hive, you're going to set that to the green setting. Let's say you identify a supersedure cell, or you identify a swarm cell. You set it to that so that in the next inspection, you know what you're looking for is typically a virgin queen, right? If it's 7 to 10 days later. So let's say you find that virgin queen, then you mark it a virgin queen. So 7 to 10 days later when you do your next inspection, you say, I need to be finding a mated queen. And sure enough, you can mark that mated queen when you have it. So when you look down your apiary at your other hives, you can say, I need to check that hive because it has a swarm cell in it. I'm good on this hive right now because it's mated and it's queen right. If you don't have a queen at all, you can set it to red. And that tells you you need to get a new queen for it. It's just a quick and convenient way that you don't need to take notes. You don't need to have bricks on the top of your hive and painting bricks. It's just a convenient way to be able to mark the status of your queen in the hive from the last inspection.
That's nice. That's handy. How about weather? How long is that going to make it?
So this is a
exposed?
weatherproof plastic, as you can see. It's 3D printed currently.
Okay.
We're working with some injection molding, people that can help us build it and scale it. It's being 3D printed right now. The actual label is a weather-resistant outdoor label, so it will not fade and it will not weather. It won't peel away. So that's, and then it has just 2 screws that can be affixed to the back of the hive. The base plate goes on. You fix 1 screw to keep that tight. You put your label on. You put your cover and screw the center all the way down. Back turn a little bit just to give it a little movement, and that's all you need to do.
Nice. So what else is new? What do you?
Well, that's the Queen Right dial, and if you want to get the Queen Right dial, you can go to queenrightdial.com. It has its own little space out there that's living with information about it. It talks about it. It's a separate product, but as you know, Bohemia Bees, that's kind of my passion. I've been building my YouTube channel and building local support within my community of all the equipment and stuff that we sell. My backdrop talks a lot about all the various things that I collect, the honeys, the old smokers, and just things like that. So
nice. Good job. Well, thanks a lot for talking to us, and we wish you well. I'm glad you're here at Hive Life.
Very much,
Always
Fred.
great to see you.
Absolutely, very good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
To John Hill from Hillco, and we're here at their display at Hive Life 2023. And I personally, I'm a backyard beekeeper, I don't use big extractors, but you know your brand name is solid. People swear by it. So the people that when they get a Hilco product, they're telling everybody else to get it. So you want to explain maybe, is there something new in extractors right now, or what's your hot item for this year?
Right. So so this lineup of honey extractor, we sold our 32 frame. We got the models up from 6 frame up to 32 frame. They're just the best in the market, we believe. You know, for the price point they're at, they hit really good levels of quality. The best warranty in the industry. A lot of great features. It's really fantastic. They're backed by the best customer service in the industry. So we've really been blessed to build up a following here, especially among the Hive Life folks. They, as you said, they tell their friends about us. They try our product. They like it. They love our customer service, and so it just keeps growing and growing. So we're really, really blessed and excited to be here. It's just been a great conference.
That's great. So you say you have some really great features.
Yeah.
You want to go over some of the features of your extractors?
Absolutely, yeah. So our Max Series extractor that's covered everything from our 9 frame up to our 32 frame has a 4-year warranty on the motor, the gearbox, and the controller, and then 10 years on everything else. So by far, that's the best warranty in the industry. Our Enduro, our entry-level extractors have a 3-year warranty, top to bottom. And once again, still the best in the industry. On our Max Series extractors, the tank floor slopes towards the front, so the back of the tank is about 1 inch higher than the front, so you get the best honey drain you can get. It just drains all towards the front. You don't have to go tipping your tank. The gate is mounted below the floor of the tank, so you don't have a lip under there like a lot of extractors do that catches the honey. And so you got a welded stainless steel gate right below the floor of the tank, and then all your honey comes out, no mess, no fuss. It just works really well.
Now let me tell you something. As a weld inspector, that's a quality weldment.
We think so too.
That one's pretty good too. And I see some shoddy welding and craftsmanship on a lot of stuff, and you're right, it's good.
Thank you.
So what other features? So the motors are good. You have this controller up here.
Yep.
Who's your primary customer for something this size?
Yeah, hobbyists typically for these smaller machines. Then when you get into the 18 frame, the 24 frame, the 32 frame, it's typically the sideliner beekeepers. Anybody up to 100 to 150 hives is our main clientele.
Have you had any problems with supply chain issues?
It's been a struggle in the past. 2021 was really rough. This past year, 2022, was quite a bit better. We really, it's never without our struggles in that area, but it is the days we live in nowadays. But yeah, overall, we've done really well. We've been very blessed.
So somebody that's watching this now, and of course it's after the fact.
Yeah.
So this one goes for $809, for example. What kind of delivery are we looking at? What's the cost for shipping within the United States?
Right. So our retail price is our normal non-conference price is $899 for this machine. That includes shipping. Free shipping.
Oh, that
does
include shipping.
So all of our products, no matter what it is free shipping for orders over $100. Our larger extractors that ship by truck freight, there are a couple small charges on top of that if we're shipping to a residence. There's some additional charges there, but yeah, we offer free shipping. So, but yeah, we do some discounts here for the Hive Life folks, and obviously largely because we're saving some shipping by delivering it all to one place. So we brought down 5 truckloads of product, and we moved most of it. So.
That sounds good. Well, that's good news for any vendor, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, do you have any tangential style extractors?
So both of these models, all of our extractors are radial, but this 6 frame Enduro and the 9 frame Mini Max here, both, I'm sorry I don't have the baskets right here, but they both have baskets that insert into these holes right down in here, and either one will hold 3 deep frames tangentially.
Okay.
Yep.
Now we notice that we got these holes on the legs, right? Do you recommend that these people mount their extractor to the floor?
Yeah, if possible.
Now what happens if you put them on wheels?
Yeah, so if you put them on wheels, it actually works pretty good. We've done some testing. Yeah, it'll kind of just wobble around in place, and does pretty good. Now it will eventually kind of walk on you a little bit across the floor. So you kind of got to watch it. But if you're close by, that's not hard to manage. We're actually planning to later this year, probably by late spring, early summer, we're going to introduce a new spring-loaded foot that will fit all of our extractors. We'll have a couple different sizes depending on the size of the machine you have. We'll have a spring-loaded foot that will mount it will bolt right into these holes in the extractor leg, and it'll raise the machine up about 3 or 4 inches, but it's going to do a dramatic reduction in the levels of wobble that you get.
And I like what you just said for several reasons, and one being also we're going to increase the height of that spigot there,
Right,
so we
right.
can get buckets under it.
Yep.
Now I've always wondered why people that have the ability to design and manufacture these things don't make some kind of carriage that sits underneath of it that has the wheels on it,
Yeah.
so that then that's removable and storable in the off season,
Right.
but that you could put under there and bolt that on, and then it absorbs that inertia that we're
Right.
talking about,
Right.
and also takes a lot of the stress out of the legs. Do you have any plan to do anything like that in the future?
Yeah, we've considered it. I don't have any absolute plans for it. We have looked at different options. We were looking. We talk about the extractor wobble. We get so many questions from customers, potential customers, and existing customers regarding how much they wobble and things like that. And the answer I always give is, well, the machine is perfectly balanced.
It has to
but
do
it's
with the
all
load
about-
of the
it's all
honey,
about how
sure.
you load it, right? And no two frames of honey weigh the same, so the wobble's always an
Right.
issue. But again, so caster wheels is an option we've certainly looked at as a way to reduce wobble, like we just talked about. So a platform with wheels on it is something we can certainly look at. We just weren't really sad when I was testing casters as an option to help reduce wobble. I wasn't really excited about the fact that if you had locking casters, it didn't really help a whole lot in reducing the wobble.
Right.
So you have to leave them unlocked to really help. And then again, you have the potential for walking across the room. So that's kind of why we went with the solid mounted, well, not solid mounted, but they're on rubber feet, these spring loaded feet, the shock absorbing feet that we're adding on to them. And we're going to look at eventually adding casters as an option too, because especially when we get into the 18 frame or larger models, not everybody has a honey house where it's stored stationary, you know, and so to be able to move it around, it just makes things a whole lot easier.
So what kind of maintenance are we talking about? What needs to be lubricated, if anything? And if it does require lubrication, what should they be using?
Absolutely, yeah. So on all of our machines, the only lubrication that's required is on the bottom bearing. All of our machines have a grease zerk, a standard grease zerk underneath, so you can grease it without having to remove it. Or if you're taking it apart to clean it anyway, you can grease from the top. Food grade grease is standard food grade grease. We use a product called Super Lube. You can order it on Amazon. It's a food grade synthetic grease, but again, any food grade grease is fine. The rest of the machine is no maintenance required. These gearboxes all have a synthetic grease in them. It's a lifetime gearbox. And so yeah, that's really all you got to do is keep it clean, try to store it in a fairly dry environment when you're not using it, and grease it every 10 to 20 hours, what we recommend, or once a year at least, you know. And that's about it. They're just very simple. They're very easy to take apart and clean. Just on any of our machines, these two bolts here on each end of the top bar, you remove those two, and the whole top bar comes off. You can pull your basket out, and you're done. So we try to make things very easy to deal with and easy to maintain, you know. So.
Okay, best cleanup after you've done your extracting. You're closing up for the year. What do you want to do for cleanup?
Yeah, so personally, I just garden hose mine out. You know, I take my garden hose on cold water, I put it on a jet setting or a high pressure setting, and I just stay there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however long it takes, and just hose it out. That cold water, if you got bits of wax on your reel or inside the tank, that cold water hardens up the wax, and it's easy to knock off. The water pressure will knock that off. That's what I personally do. And again, as I just described, if you want to do more thorough than that, take it apart, wash it out, bam, you know, a few minutes, you're done.
Nice.
Yep.
I think that pretty much covers it.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, John. I
Hey,
appreciate
thanks, Fred.
it.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
talking
you.
to
Yes,
us.
sir. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So my name's Dale McMahon, and I own Apis Engineering. We're located in Wheatfield, Indiana. We make a broad range of products that generally tend towards the queen breeder, rearer, and inseminator. We range from this unit here is called a queen station, and it's a self-contained unit that out of the box a user can inseminate any number of queens. It has onboard lights, onboard CO2, built-in microscope, and it's everything somebody needs if they want to get into serious queen breeding. We also make other smaller models for the hobbyist. One is called the Micro Station, and the other is called the Sideliner.
Now it looks like you've got a camera here.
Yes, this is a digital camera. Takes movies and still photos.
Okay.
You use it to project on a screen to train people. Yeah.
So what kind of resolution are we talking about? What image size?
It's probably a Midland range quality of.
So if it's video, would it be up to 1080p or?
I'm not sure. I can't recall
You're
what
not
it
sure
is.
the video resolution? Okay.
This is a 6 megapixel.
6
camera.
megapixel.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's a fairly small image overall. And if we look at the components down here, you described the CO2, which is used
Yeah.
to knock out the queen.
Right.
And
So-
then if we could explain some of the components in here.
Sure. So this is the sting forceps. If you look down there, that you press on this and it grabs the queen sting, and you pull it back slightly. Pull it back slightly. This would have a hook on it. I gave the hook to somebody that needed one.
Okay.
And this is called a ventral hook. So you hook this in her ventral side and pull it slightly. She would be trapped in a glass tube here, which I also gave to somebody. And CO2 would flow through the machine and up through this hole in this tube.
Okay.
And that would anesthetize her.
Now that's interesting. The CO2 aspect, we don't want to injure the queen. So what kind of flow rate are we talking about? Is it a continuous flow while the queen is in there and then it's shut down? Or is it pure CO2?
It's pure CO2.
It's pure CO2.
And it's continuous while she's in there.
Okay.
And how we know how much we're giving her, this would have water in it.
Right.
And there's a little tube where bubbles come out. And we recommend 3 to 8 bubbles per second is all.
Okay.
And it's really a low amount.
Low flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you're done with the insemination and you take her out, it takes her about 10 to 15 minutes to wake up.
So where do you keep her while she's waking up? Is there any preferred temperature, or how is she controlled and protected?
Everything's at room temperature.
Okay.
The whole process is at room temperature.
Okay.
Even the semen is stored for a couple weeks at room temperature.
Okay.
But we just let her wake up near if we're still setting at the machine, so we can watch her. If she wakes up enough, she'll walk off. But
Right.
as soon as we take her out of the tube, we document her. We put a number on her back,
Okay.
and it's color coded and number coded. And we make a log of what her characteristics are supposed to be and what they were, and then once she's woke up, we put her in a California Mini or anything to hold her, you know.
Okay.
Then the next day, 24 hours later, this little box comes with the unit, and it has a CO2 port.
Okay.
And you can put a hose on the.
Nice.
You can put a hose on the post, run it to here. You can put 7 California Minis in here, and you gas them twice. 24 hours later.
You sell these boxes separate?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Do you have any in stock?
I do.
Okay.
I'll get you one.
I'm on board with buying one of those.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's keep talking about what you do. So once they're in there, but here's another thing that you mentioned that I'd like to clarify a little bit. How are they getting the semen from the drones?
Use the same instrument.
Same instruments, okay.
So you've probably seen videos or maybe in real life of how to invert a drone's endophallus.
Right.
You squeeze it and it unfurls.
Yeah.
And unlike mammals, the sperm is on the outside of the endophallus, not on the inside. So you can take this would have a fine syringe in the end. And with this hydraulic system, you can suck the semen right off of the endophallus of the drone.
Okay.
And it would come up in this tube. We like to put 8 microliters per queen.
Okay.
8 to 12.
So that 8 microliters would be equivalent to how many matings with a drone on average?
So that would be equivalent to her doing an open mated flight with, say, 15.
15, so well more than she needs.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, well more than she needs, and she expels what she don't, and keeps what she wants.
Interesting. So let's move on and talk about some of the equipment you have here. You have a frame holder for grafting, and you've got a nice digital screen here.
Yeah,
and
so
I assume the camera.
Yeah,
right.
It's
So
a camera. Yep.
Digital microscope, I suppose.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we created this because so many people, the first thing they say, "Hey, you want to learn how to graft?" "Oh, my eyes are too bad."
Okay.
So we created this for people who think they are or really are vision impaired.
Okay.
And it's a different technique than grafting with your glasses on or whatever.
Right.
Because you're kind of remote from the action.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got a screen and a camera in between your hands, so it's kind of probably a developed activity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's a learned.
Plus your movements are magnified because it is a magnified image,
Yep.
right? Interesting.
And this you can use as a training aid if you're trying to teach someone to graft. You
Okay.
can't both get your head down in the cell at the same time.
Right.
So you can project this on a screen and they can watch what you do and you can watch what they do.
Excellent. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
Now sold. So did you just bring one of these to the show?
There's one without a camera. No, I've got a bunch of these.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the display unit's been sold now?
Yeah, the one with the camera.
Okay.
I've got a couple left that don't have the camera.
That will last a lifetime. Is this aluminum? What's it made out of?
60,
It's all
61,
aluminum.
yeah.
6061. You even know the grade of
Yeah.
aluminum. I like that story too.
Yeah.
And so I look at this for a completely different reason.
Oh yeah.
This kind of articulated unit for holding a frame for me is for macro photography.
I had another person say that.
It has a great use for that. And so what's the range of movement? So it would be vertical.
Yep. So it's got two little locking levers.
Okay.
It goes completely flat.
Okay.
For pack storage.
Storage. All right.
To completely vertical.
Okay.
Yep. It'll hold a deep frame or a medium. Yep. This is for your cell bar.
Nice. Yep. Very well done. Now, what am I looking at here? An incubator?
Yeah, this is a device that has three purposes.
Okay.
So it's heated and humidity controlled, and feel that it's nice and warm and wet in there.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
And so what it's made for is, if you have an out yard that you want to graft from, you can take this out and grab the frames of larvae, put it in here, take it 50 miles if you want, and it'll keep it viable.
Okay. So is this DC? So you could plug this into some kind of battery while you're traveling?
You plug it into your cigarette lighter.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's an
Okay.
adapter for 110 too when you're back at your shop. The second use of it is if you have capped queen cells in a cell bar, in a frame, 45 of them, you can take these out and make your splits. This will keep them warm and moist while you're doing your splits.
Humidity is critical. A lot of people don't really understand. They think temperature only. The humidity is absolutely critical.
Exactly.
Right?
Oh yeah, especially queen cells.
Great.
And the third thing, you can actually emerge your queens in here.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very interesting.
That's that. And this is just a carrier. There's no cell on here, but this keeps this warm. 45 cells you can take out to do your splits. Again, it plugs into a cigarette lighter, and it only takes about 15 minutes to get up temperature. It doesn't have humidity control. It's just simply for you to go from point A to B and keep things warm.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad I stopped by.
Yeah, me too.
I appreciate it, Dale. Thanks for giving us that presentation. Very informative. So here we are, Hive Live 2023 Fuzzy Nuggets. And we're going to talk about the products that they're showing, which are very unique. And we have Karen here. And we have Brian. And the interesting part, show us what's different about the hives that you guys have compared to a standard Langstroth. Is it for kids? Is this a model hive? What's the purpose of it?
Well, it's kind of for kids because it's easier to lift and there's like tinier frames.
Easier to lift, tinier frames. So do you have bees in these at home?
Yes, we have bees in these at home. Usually like this top box usually will weigh 10-15 pounds.
And can you lift that when it's full?
Yes.
That's excellent. And what's the little shim piece you have there?
So that's for this pump now.
For fondant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get my wife
That is fun.
she sells like active wear.
And then you can just lay that up there. And then the bees can come up and
Nice. I love these handles on the side and that it doesn't indent in or take away from the thickness of the wood. Who designed it? She did, Mom. Okay. I like the design. It's very well done. Who's doing the woodwork? You're doing the woodwork too. Nice. And so, and I see also that you have hive gates down in the bottom. Are you actually using those on your hives at home?
At home because we have some really small clusters. We got some swarms that were.
At 6 p.m. I'm going to show how we top it off. So you've got your Hive Life fondant in there. Did you have that on last winter?
Yes.
How did
well,
that?
Actually, this coming, we put it in November.
Okay, so you did not have it last year, but you're doing it this year. What did you used to use for emergency feed in winter?
Well, actually, I did on my big hives. I used the Hive Life. This is the
Oh, you
first
did?
time we were doing it for the small.
For the small hives. Okay. Nice. And so you have a nicely insulated cover for that.
Yeah, and then the jar. So Brian, you're welcome. Show them where the jar goes on. So if we do the in the summer, yeah, the jar would go on here, and then these can come up with there.
Okay.
Also have an insulated roof here. during the
Expansion
winter.
foam, is that great stuff?
Well, I don't know. You tried it?
That's probably great stuff.
it's well, it expanded more than I thought it would.
Yeah,
It
okay.
kind of grew a little bit.
All right.
Yeah.
So we put that on. It's all pine. Now, do you normally paint these then? Or?
Yes, we usually paint them because they don't make the wood last a lot longer.
Okay, good idea. Now, do you ever put your hives on the ground the way they are now, or are they elevated on some kind of stand?
So we usually have them on these like big slab things
Paver stones?
to help with rain and bugs and stuff.
Okay, so that's, but they are close to the ground then. Okay. Now the frames that you put in, oh, this is interesting. And those are a very unique size frame.
Yes.
In fact, they're almost like a queen's mating nucleus size frame. And you came up with this because you wanted the kids to be able to lift and manage the hive equipment themselves.
Yeah.
Are your children homeschooled?
Yeah,
Is that
they're
right?
homeschooled.
Okay.
So this was our. It started out as a bee unit.
Okay.
It became like
A thing, an actual thing. Okay.
So this is so we can manage the swarming because these grow up. We stack them about 4 boxes high.
Okay.
Too tippy, so you
Too tippy, yes.
We strap them down to the ground with
Okay.
stakes and a ratchet strap.
Okay, nice. And so these are foundationless?
They're wax foundation.
Wax foundation, okay.
And then we move it, we strap them onto this metal bar and we can transfer
Aluminum
them
back
into
bar,
a
okay.
standard deep.
Oh, nice.
So that's how we move our brood
Oh,
out.
so you can migrate them into a larger hive.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a great starter hive. I like it.
It works out good. And the hive gate does help with the robbing because some of our colonies are only in a single box.
Okay.
And they've been able to fend off all the yellow jackets and things and other bees. Because we have our standard hives in the yard with these little guys. So I feel like the hive gates are kind of important because of the large colonies next door in our yard. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So now, are you shipping these? Is that what you're doing? Do they
Yeah.
ship assembled or do they ship unassembled?
Either way, I can ship the boxes unassembled. I think the roof and all that has to be assembled.
Assembled. Okay. And what's your website? Or how do they get in touch with you?
It's fuzzynuggetbees.com.
Okay, so we'll get ready.
That's all right. I was just checking.
Excellent.
And they also are screen bottom board. I should mention that.
I
with
saw that. You have a removable tray
tray.
for IPM. That's
And then
fantastic.
you could just kind of put a piece of plywood over to seal it off.
Otherwise,
if
you would have
want to.
mice moving in right under there.
Yeah.
Trying to get safe and secure for winter.
Yep.
That's great.
So that's the deal.
Last words, Brian?
You wanna say
What's
anything?
great about keeping bees?
Well, I mean, it's a fun experience getting to inspect them and all that. I mean, the honey's good too, but I mainly just enjoy inspecting them.
You like inspecting them. What are you looking for when you inspect your hive?
Usually we're looking for the queen and eggs.
The queen and eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
That's nice. Good job. Well done. Thanks for talking to me today.
You have great lighters.
1,800 people registered. We usually get 10% participation. We did not out last night. We were 250 people last night.
Fred Dunn just said he was impressed.
That was a compliment about you.
No, he was impressed with the bird.
Oh,
It has
okay,
nothing to
okay.
do with me.
Well, I'm very impressed.
Yes, but the fact that I actually impressed Fred Dunn
Pretty impressive.
is pretty impressive. What about you, Frank? Hey, Frank, go get Fred. Go get him.
Oh, God.
Go get Fred.
Don't jump off my head.
Does anybody have any red meat?
You
Red
do
meat.
not want me to break out my shrews right now.
Yeah.
They're ready to roll.
I'm just glad we don't have carpet on the floor.
So Yappy, tell us about why you keep them. Are you part of a raptor program, like a hunting program?
No, yes. there, he said the key word. I'm actually a permanent falconer. Falconers can possess them. So you got to go through a process of testing and other mentorship. I had to be under mentorship for 2 years, but it allows me to possess.
All right, so we're at Hive Life 2023. This is a feeder that I looked at more than a year ago. And I was very interested in it because of the way it configures directly over the hole that's already established in your inner cover. It holds, is this largemouth mason jars. And I'll turn this over to Jerry, who can explain. First of all, is this your company, Jerry?
This is my wife and I, and my father and his wife.
Okay.
So it's we call it our bee buffet.
Okay.
So it's multi-use. It can be on top of your inner cover.
Right.
This is pollen patties or dry sugar.
Okay.
What it also does is it locates this over top of your
it's
slot.
a placeholder.
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely. So in the video, we show you with the lid off so you can see what the bees are doing.
Right.
But with this on top of your hive and in your cover, with the cover on, all of your bees are inside your feeder or inside your hive.
They don't have access to the space above it, and therefore don't make a bunch of feral comb.
Exactly.
All right. Good move, Jerry.
So it takes wide mouth up to a half gallon.
Okay.
Or down as small the smaller mouth jars.
Oh,
down
so
to
it's already cut out for
so
that.
It has inner ridges for the small ones and a large ridge for
And
the
this
top.
little placeholder right here is too tiny for the bees to get through.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Another area that even if it's empty, they can't access the space,
Right.
or if something were to happen and the jar falls over, you're not going to find a bunch of bees up in the cavity.
Exactly.
I like it.
So everything on the inside of this feeder is textured or ribbed for traction. Because bees that can climb usually don't drown.
Right.
They can climb up and down and get in and out.
And in a thin syrup.
Yes,
Right.
in a thin syrup.
Right.
Absolutely. Also, what's great about this, I said it was multi-use. So we can take those two set to the side. And what you can see here, we did this so you can see what's going on.
Right.
But at the same time, this are great watering stations. So if you hit a time frame where you don't want to feed inside the top of your
You can
hive,
do open feed.
you can open water just like this. We like to use salt water. But you can open water, salt water, or regular water, and this just becomes a watering station. We have 18 hives. These are located every few. We have 6 of these stations right down the line of our hives. With these, using them as a watering station outside your hives, salt water or regular water, if a bee can access the water right there, that's more time they're going to spend in a hive. That's less energy they're going to expend going back and forth to a water source. So this is just quick and easy. The salt water also will give them the sodium, potassium, magnesium, the things that they really want. And it also keeps them out of your neighbor's pool.
So that's it for Hive Life 2023. I'm Frederick Dunn, and this has been the Way to Bees review of Hive Life in Sevierville, Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was long, but I did much better than last year at getting to know lots of vendors and hopefully getting the wheels turning on some brand new products that are coming out for beekeepers in the backyard. Thanks for watching. I wish you all the very best with your bees. If you missed it, you want to be watching for tickets for Hive Life 2024. Don't wait. Thanks again.